Hello, everyone. We are live. People can hear us now. Uh, uh.
I doubt that. That's a
Well,
rumor.
it's a very petty rumor if it's a rumor. We
Yeah, I'm not
actually,
sure why you're spreading it.
you guys are stuck with me and Max for a little bit because Lauren's running a little late, and so
Fashionably
yeah.
late. Because Lauren is the only one between the three of us who has a fashion sense.
I mean that is true.
I know.
That is that is very true. that that
I didn't mean
uh
this as an insult, it was a
I
statement.
no, that's the thing that I couldn't come up with anything witty to be like, "Oh, no, I couldn't be a contrarian." It's just a even
Oh,
that's just
wait.
a fact.
We are live. We should tell people that we are live.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now on Twitter. Nerd.
I. Babbity babbity boo.
Lauren is busy filming a juicy fruit commercial. Oh, yeah, cuz I did a Ghostbusters stream the other day, right? And we revealed to the audience Lauren's acting past, because when she was a child, like a little baby Lauren, she was in a bunch of like national commercials for things, like for like toys for Disney shows and toy stores and things. But the thing that makes it funny is that she was so small as a child that they would cast her in roles for toddler and stuff because she just looked that young even though she was like 5 or 6. But they would put her in roles that are like meant for like 3-year-olds. And I just love that she's always been small. And
Yeah,
that
at
makes
least
me feel
nowadays.
big.
Yeah, at least nowadays she gets casted for young teenagers.
She did say on stream that she could be cast in a Disney Channel show and no one
Oh
would know.
shit.
It's true though. She's almost 30 and she looks like I look more like an older person than she does. How did that happen?
I guess
Well,
I guess that's where all this more glamorous appearance on her end comes from. To compensate
yeah.
for it, to be like, look, I am an adult. Look at how I dress. I do not child.
She it is yeah, but instead of it being like the oh god, like the Clubhouse Disney kind of starlets where they go all super like skimpy snake, only wearing a snake or something. It's like classy Audrey Hepburn because that's Lauren, and Lauren has to be the classy one. This is
Also,
probably.
Odie just in the chat.
Oh, what did Odie do? Wait, Lauren is older than you? Yeah, Lauren's 28. She's gonna be 29 this year.
Lauren
And
is a big sister.
yeah, that's weird, right? We got a
Basically,
we got a Mirabelle Luisa thing going. No, wait,
yeah.
Luisa's actually older than Mirabelle,
No,
but
but
not by
yeah,
much.
we got a thing of me and my sister going on where I'm not even sure how tall she is, but easily a head shorter than me. And whenever she introduces me to anybody, she knows. She's like, "Hey, have you met my little brother?" And then she pulls me right next to it, and I tower over her. So
That is great. I mean, I got very lucky when I got the found family of Lauren in that she's actually shorter than me. Even when she wears heels, and I'm pretty sure she never takes off her heels. She is shorter than me. And when you
I
live in
saw
a
her at the
fam
swimming pool. I saw her at the beach. I don't want to say that I saw her at the shower, but it's true. She never takes them off.
yeah, they're melded to her
Even
feet.
she even goes to bed wearing her high heels.
She's the world's most mundane cryptid. Just she, she's completely normal except her feet are heels. But because when you live in a family where everyone is like 5'11" or 6 feet tall and taller, and you're the average height one, and then it's like, well, I don't like my family anymore, but I have all these new people in my life, and they're all almost 6 feet tall or over. It's like, I can't win. But then you find a Lauren. And then it's like, you know what? Maybe things aren't that bad. Because I remember at fucking Nightmare Nights, the first time that you and I met in person, and then I was around a bunch of other people, and it's just like, why is everyone tall? Why is the I felt so the only person shorter than me was Lightning Bliss. It was not fair.
Yeah. I remember us collectively resting our necks on your head and shoulders.
Yeah, I was a table.
Yeah,
It was.
There are some photos from back then. Somewhere. I don't even know where.
I mean, I have them. I don't like looking at them. Not that they weren't fun memories. I don't like how I looked in them. Because I'm shallow.
It was pre-workout, Chrissy. Pre-anime story arc. It was basically the lore.
The origins. I was cute. I wasn't hot. And now I'm there. That was my whole arc, to go from cute to hot. There's no in between. You can't be both. I will die on that hill. No one is cute and hot at the same time. The only people who are able to be cute and hot are men. Women can't be cute or hot. That's the statement that will get me canceled. People are like, oh, Chrissy's a self-hating sexist. Because she says women can't be cute or hot.
I gave up. I literally realized this year I'm uncancelable.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't get canceled for saying you didn't like Spider-Man No Way Home. So
exactly. If you can't get canceled for that, I barely even got a reaction. I believe I have actually the thing going on where I am imperceptible to people, and therefore I could go out there and do crimes.
No, I don't think. Well, I mean, there was that time you knocked over a 2-year-old when we went to that burger place.
I still believe that it fell over by itself.
Should I give context to this, or? So basically, at Max's old place, like very close by, there was a burger place. Fun fact.
Chrissy has exclusive good memories of.
Well, they were mostly good until the last time I went there. Which I'll explain later. But so I think this was when I was staying with you the first time. And we were just walking out after we ate. It was all good and fine. Then there's like this little baby boy just standing at the door, and he's like completely like coated up, like looks like a little marshmallow puffball with how many coats. And then he just the burger place has one stoop, like one step, and this kid just goes, because Max walks by, and then he falls flat on his face. Like there was no trying to steady himself. It just and then the kid just starts screaming, and I can assure you the parents looked right at Max and we walked away. And to this day, Max says that the kid fell over on his own. But why did he only fall over when you walked by, Max?
My presence literally knocked him out of his socks, and it cost him his balance. Also, I sent
that
you
still
beautiful...
that still makes it your fault.
I just retweeted something that I sent to you in chat, like in Discord.
Oh, in the group chat?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, is this from the awful fan-made poster?
Yes!
Who said... Okay, I'm sorry. The thing is...
I'm not sure if you can put it on screen while the demo thing.
Oh, I could put it on screen. It's just
Odie, that's basically my point. I'm not relevant enough to get cancelled. But I don't even get backlash. That's the point where I think.
Damn it!
Yeah. Damn it!
It's the Twitter thing where it saves it as a JPEG large. What is this format? Who uses this format? There we go. I just had to rename it.
Not even that large to begin with.
Okay, so thank you, Max, for sending me this. You're always a delight. But the thing is, with how it's saying the actors, is it saying Zendaya is the dog?
Probably. I mean, somebody has to...
Is Zendaya Scooby-Doo?
Apparently, and Scooby-Doo is no longer a Danish dog. It's whatever that is. The pit bull? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I would not be opposed to Keanu Reeves being Shaggy given his experience in Bill and Ted. He's good. He can. I know that people forget because of John Wick and shit, but he's actually not bad at playing a doofus. That's how he got his start. And from the newest Bill and Ted movie, he could still do it. However, I think I draw the line at Zendaya being Scooby-Doo.
Well, it's one of those typical reboots where every character, where some character is gender swapped for no particular reason. And in this case, it's Scooby-Doo. If this makes the weird bond between Shaggy and Scooby less or more weird is up to your decision.
I can't. No, that's worse, because now I'm getting flashbacks to fucking Mystery Incorporated. For people who don't know. They had a show back... He picked the dog over Velma. It's so bad, but there's a great clip from it. I'm sure most people have seen the clip outside of the show where it's Scooby saying, "I'm not dumb, Reggie. Are you cheating on me?" And that's not a good first impression of the show. But I would argue that show does not give a good first impression of itself with how dumb Fred is at the beginning. But that is one thing that I can't forgive in that show. And then they retroactively say Velma's a lesbian in that show. Sure. Because bisexual people don't exist. But it's just like... He chose the dog over a cute nerd girl. Who does that? But apparently Shaggy, but I mean, like, who would do that? Like, audience, question for you guys while we kill time for Lauren to get here. If you had the choice...
I just said I'm here.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I've been going on this tangent about Shaggy for like 50 minutes, and I'm like, I guess I shouldn't interrupt this.
I genuinely did not even hear your little badoop thing come in because
I heard it, but
no,
I wasn't sure.
You didn't want to stop. Okay, but yeah. I still want to ask the audience. You know what, Lauren? I'll ask you. If you had the choice between a dog and a cute nerd girl, who would you pick? Let's put aside the fact you are a straight woman.
I don't know. Dogs are cute.
Okay, maybe you were not the good audience to ask. Audience, if you had the choice between a cute nerd girl and a Great Dane, who would you pick? I mean, I would pick the Great Dane, but that's because I'm straight. But, anyways, I guess I should play the theme song again now that Lauren's here, so we actually have all three idiots, so... Welcome everyone to Three Idiots. I'm concerned with how many people say Great Dane. You guys are part of the problem.
Apparently. Also, I want to share the screen with us.
Yes, the thing is, I'm wondering if I should screen share the stream, the OBS, or if I should just screen share the tier list directly. I mean, you guys know what
you plan to do in the OBS.
I mean, I mean, you know me. With OBS, I usually move you guys around so much. So I'm gonna... You know what? That made my decision. Oh no, Lauren, what are you doing all the way over there?
I don't know, and the bottom half of me is missing, apparently.
I mean, you never had a bottom half. That's why you're so short.
I'm just arms with the top. You know what? I'm Monty out of FNAF Security Breach. I'm just a top half with arms.
Don't get me started on Security Breach. I ruined Max's server the other day by talking about Security Breach with Chuggle and Curveball for like a good 30 minutes in the general chat. some people were not happy with me.
So
but
anyway,
yes,
about
everyone.
that William Afton.
Oh yeah, so I changed my mind. This entire stream is going to be talking about FNAF lore.
But I haven't finished Markiplier's Let's Play of Security Breach yet.
Yeah, you want
second to last part.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I'm not really caring. I mean, at this point, I hope that certain things get answered because they are not so far.
yeah. Do you want to be disappointed? Because that game is disappointing in answering questions. Also, that watching Mark's Let's Play is just watching someone get punched in the dick multiple times with how much that game it's broken. It's a broken game.
Oh no, our game, it's broken.
Oh no, our Fazbear, it's broken, Gregory. But yes, way to go, super shit. Anyways, hi guys, we're not talking about FNAF.
Aww.
But if we reach 40 views, no. Anyways, so welcome to 2022. We're still idiots. There is no resolution there, but yeah. Welcome to season 2. Wow. You guys do not look. You guys did not change much since last year. You guys look the exact same with the same two expressions.
Fun fact of IRL Max lore. I intended to get a haircut before Christmas. I still haven't managed to.
Oh, that's always fun. I haven't gotten mine. I plan to get mine before Christmas.
So I went to see the family for Christmas, looking like what's this? Cousin It.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking like Cousin It, but by now at least I shaved.
I mean, that's a relative term, given that your hair doesn't really grow that fast. So, I mean, if there's anyone here that looks like Cousin It, it's Lauren. She could probably put her hair over her head and go and do a perfect impression. Just put her in a humid, her in a humid area, and then her hair will just.
I mean, Lauren, you always have given me certain Snoop Dogg vibes, so.
I want to assure everyone, of the films that we're talking about today, Addams Family 2 is not one of them.
Really?
None
of us watched it.
Here's the thing. Me and Lauren went to see the first one in theaters, and we had a great time. No trailer of Addams Family 2 stimulated me at all.
Oh.
It was a road trip movie. I was like, oh god. I may watch it, but it wasn't today. But yes, if that gave a hint, today we are doing a tier list that because of the poll, you guys voted for us to do this, of the films we all watched in 2021. Oh god, I forgot that I put you guys on the tier list. Oh no.
Our doppelgangers have been sitting in this chart since last year.
Also keep in mind that Lauren is not allowed to be at the far left end of the table, or she will cover the next one, and it will confuse everybody.
Okay, then we'll just put her over here.
Sounds good. Oh. Now
she's
officially big. Lauren is the tallest one of all of us.
Oh, okay. No, never. There we go.
Oh boy.
Why?
Let's hope that we don't get a lot for F, because then I will start covering it up. Which reminds me, before we start, I have to derail the stream.
Okay, let's go back to the bigger versions of us.
No. Go back to the smaller version. What do you think? Where I waited? Aha! Here I am. I demand that we do not do an A, B, C, D, F ranking. I want to suggest a different ranking.
Okay, that I can do. So what do you want this to be?
I said derail the stream, not completely make it crash and burn. So, my suggestions from top to bottom, feel free to argue with me about it or masterpiece.
Okay, hold on. I forgot to put stream safe music in the background.
Oh, it happens.
So that way we're not in utter silence the entire time. Okay. So S is masterpiece.
I mean, feel free to argue with me about this, but yeah.
I mean,
masterpiece
yeah,
as
sure.
in the stuff that is like really like meh, great movie that is a must see and so on. The next one would be good stuff. Just generally good stuff where you can be like, hey, yeah, man, check it out. It's good.
I don't know. I
content.
think great stuff, and then B is good stuff.
That is fair. That is
Good
fair.
would be a B.
Okay,
Come on.
The next one would the next one I had was popcorn.
But that's not a ranking. That's just a type of movie.
I'd say C
I don't
is
know.
C is meh.
C is meh.
Already meh. I mean, I have the after C. C is meh. There I had better skip, but meh, I guess, is a good way to say better skip. Then this for D, I had Garbo.
Garbo, yeah. If F is Eternals, I'm going.
No, F is simply crime against humanity.
Burn it.
You know, I have a better idea for meh.
Yes. Okay.
Airplane movie. You only watch it on an airplane.
Okay, but now do we have any better way to distinguish between great stuff and good stuff?
I had.
Like we have the masterpiece, we have the great stuff, we have the...
How about nice?
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we've made stuff we can agree on, okay?
Exactly.
God, thank you for this derailment.
You're welcome, but yeah, it also gives us a little bit more than it is a B. We have a little bit more connotation to the individual line.
That's fair. That's fair. Thank you, Max. But yes.
Yay!
So we have 26 films that we're ranking today of stuff that between all of us we have watched. There are ones where one or two of us have not watched. And in that case, we're going to be pulling out the good old methods from the battle brackets and bullshit our way through them. and we'll see if we are great actors. Or at least great liars. As we've learned that with Max's Cars 2 debacle of 2021. He's a good liar. And that's scary.
I have still not watched a single Cars movie.
Awesome. But with that, let's get started.
Oh, have I? It could have been a lie.
Okay, Max. So, let's start with, I think, one that's already going to start us off good. Luca from Pixar.
Oh, yeah.
I this was such a nice movie. It was. It gave me Ponyo vibes. Just simple, nice, comfy. The beautiful.
And I know how much you love Ponyo.
Yes, the beautiful fictional land of Italy. For as we know, Italians are not real. So, but I don't think this is the best Pixar movie. Oh yeah.
Yeah, all the bonding in the family, and when then later the house breaks down, it was super sad. But then Luca came around and saved the day. I loved it.
I think Lauren wants to smack you, so let's just Lauren, start talking so you could slap him.
I slap you. I slap you again. I slap you a third time. I slap you a fourth time. I slap you a fifth time.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
wait, no.
okay,
I have to stop.
okay.
He's liking it.
Yeah, no, stop. Torture's not fun.
Congratulations,
if
you
like
made this awkward.
Oh,
it's not
even
It's in
Sunday.
Sunday.
I know.
We don't have an awkward cast this week, so good job. This week we still
Thanks.
can keep the quota going.
But yes, anyways, back to Luca. Jesus. I mean, like, this movie didn't reinvent the wheel by any means, but I really liked it. I think this can go in great stuff. Would I say masterpiece? No. But I think it's great. So that's my opinion on it. And I should know, for I am a fictional Italian.
I agree. I think it fits into that great stuff category where, yeah, it doesn't have to be a groundbreaking film in order to be a fantastic film. And it's a comfort film as I see it.
Yes.
And
It's
obviously,
a warm blanket.
And obviously the director Enrico, he obviously was heavily inspired by Ghibli films, and has been very vocal about his love for Ghibli films. That so much of the designs and the look and the feel and the small town vibes and just the general small scale story being in this town, it's very Ghibli-esque, and therefore very comforting.
Thank you, Saber, saying Italians are lucky. First Luca, and now the Mario movie. Mamma mia, it's crime time. But
yeah, as
with the most Italian man on the planet, Chris Pratt.
It's a Chris Pratt.
As we know, Pratt is just the Americanized form of Pratino.
Pratino.
Andale.
But as I also, hello, Saber.
Hi, Saber. I'm going to break you over my knee like Bane later. So, hugs and kisses. But yes, so we have 2 for great stuff. What about you, Max? I know you are like, you're a burly, manly man, and I'm sure this cozy movie just sent like gross shivers down your spine.
But I mean, for a big, burly, strong, manly man, there is the dad character to identify with, not the fish dad, the one-armed human dad character.
Who is a great... I love him. He's great.
Massimo. I love him.
Massimo. We finally learned what happened to the dad from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs after his son went off and made a career. He developed a daughter and lost an arm and moved to Italy. Anyway, so what I'm currently trying to, for myself before I give my verdict, because you have mostly said about the movie in general what could be said, the distinction between great stuff and good stuff, I guess, great stuff and nice. Nice is something where we would be like, yes, recommendation. And
yes,
great stuff is like kind of a must-watch, but without world-shattering, like masterpiece, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To develop the new one.
Like it's not what I would. It's not like award winning. It's not it's not like an award darling kind of thing. But it is like
fuck awards. Our opinion is more worth.
An enthusiastic recommendation of like, oh, you got to watch this.
Wait, this is a masterpiece or a great stuff?
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Okay. I dare to say, sadly I have only watched it once, so I haven't rewatched it, which would help to facilitate. I recall enjoying it very much. I would probably put it somewhere between nice and good and great stuff. But since you were like, hey, great stuff, I don't have a problem with great stuff. It was
there
nice,
we go.
Focused.
Also, I have a Machiavelli that sits on my desk and looks, and not just looks, he judges me. Every time.
Oh yeah, I remember Max always loved when the cat was on screen because he watched Luca with me.
I freaking love Machiavelli.
He's a good boy, and he got to get laid at the end, and that's the most important part of this movie.
That little mustachioed cat.
Yes, we have a good cat. We always love the cat characters, even though I am very allergic. But yes, so that's our first one. The next one is Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, the movie that people waited like 3 years for. I saw posters for this movie from 2019 when I was in Germany. That's how long this movie took to come out. But okay, Max, since you're the first one piping up, why would we put Free Guy in Masterpiece?
No, I as much as I loved this movie and as I had a great time with it, as much as you could make a case for it achieving something to a degree that has not been done before, I would not put it in Masterpiece. I mean, it is pretty fantastic because it's basically a video game movie adaptation without being a concrete video game. I mean, most video game movie adaptations try to. It's a movie about video games. It feels right. I'm pretty sure people will be like, I cringed a little bit here and there, and the depiction of video games was not how I wanted to see it. But I have seen those horrific 80s and 90s and 2000s. It hasn't really gotten better with how video games, like actual video game worlds, get depicted in movies, in TV shows, and so on. It's usually like either super pixely and nothing happens, or it's super sci-fi shenanigans that are simply bonkers. You can tell that there have been actual gamers behind this, and they probably try to walk a middle way between making it just exclusive internet meme gamer humor and actually making it accessible to a wider audience. And it was Ryan Reynolds going nuts. So if you like Ryan Reynolds, you like it. I would unironically put it into great stuff. Masterpiece, yeah, not really. At the end of the day, it's a silly, fun comedy movie with a lot of good humor, but it's not a masterpiece.
I feel like Free Guy is a great Ryan Reynolds movie if you wanted to watch Deadpool, but you can't handle half of the gore from Deadpool.
That's actually a really good way to say it.
It's also a lot more wholesome.
Well, yes, but I'm saying, like, if you want that Ryan Reynolds energy without the blood and baby penis, then I think, like, I feel like Free Guy is something for you. I personally would put it in nice simply because I don't know. There maybe I'm in the realm of, like, the amount of because the game they were emulating seems like a mishmash of like GTA and stuff, and I don't know. So I feel like it's a very particular science to get that kind of free roaming world right. I do like the concept of the AI becoming self-aware kind of thing, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen it done better, but it was done well, and I think it's a fun movie. I personally would put it in nice. I don't think it's as good as Luca, but I guess that's an apples to oranges situation there.
Absolutely.
But I feel like you're not going to miss out like on an experience by not watching Free Guy, but I do recommend you watch Free Guy. I feel like you're missing out on an experience watching something like Luca and some of the other films we have on.
Yeah.
Coming up, but I do think it's nice. It's a solid A-, or a B+.
Guess it comes now down to Lauren, who definitely has watched this movie.
I agree on the nose category.
I'm calling bullshit before you even have talked about this movie. Before you have said any word, I'm calling bullshit.
First of all, don't interrupt me. Second of all,
I think Lauren, you want to say that to his face?
That's my ear.
You talking shit?
I have a shoulder gremlin.
Now I'm on your head.
Wait, what? You have all seen this Zoo Olympics TV special from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this reporter coming to, I believe it was the bull boxer or something who lost, and then I'm now dancing on your head. You are so lost, and these are standing on the head, this bird dancing on the head of the athlete who just failed. I just got reminded of that by Lauren standing on my head.
Oh, lovely. But yes, Lauren, please tell us your thoughts on Free Guy.
Well, yeah, especially when you say, like, I was exactly thinking the same thing with saying you to have Free Guy and Luca in the same category. It's not the same when you have Free Guy it's a little bit more, again, like a silly romp. It's a fun thing. A lot of people had issues with it, and I'm just like, it's a fun movie. Let people have their fun. It's not a bad thing. Come on. It's all right.
No fun.
So,
no fun allowed.
And another thing is, I feel like it would be a sin to not put Ryan Reynolds in the nice category. You know why.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, just consider that Ready Player One exists, and then we have Free Guy. So be thankful you have Free Guy.
Oh yeah.
So I think nice is a good category. It's still a good grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's still something you can go see it, you know?
Yeah. Sadly, my biggest memory of Free Guy is after we all went to go see Lupin the First in theaters.
I was about to say
there was no Lupin poster, so we just all posed around the Free Guy poster. So Ryan Reynolds was in the middle of the group.
I'd like to point out I sent that picture to Doug Erholtz, and he is like, it's like, I hope Ryan doesn't spill coffee all over you guys, and it's because he's holding a full coffee cup.
That's
but he got a kick out of us going like, we had no Lupin poster, so ignore that.
Yeah, Doug Erholtz is the English voice of Zenigata for people who don't know. But anyways, we're not talking about Lupin. That came out in 2020, sadly.
I know.
So, yes.
I wish we could count it. I really wish we could.
No,
but I don't yet.
And
technically 2019 for Japan. So, I mean, it goes even further back than that.
Yeah. Thus diminishing the argument to put it on here. Anyways, the next one is one that I will gush about, so I'm gonna go last in stating my opinion.
I literally
In the
can't
Heights.
tell what it is. Okay, because I only see like the
it was like super pixelated for a sec, so I couldn't see him. Like, oh,
yes,
I see.
But it's Lin-Manuel's and John and In the Heights. Yes. I know that Lauren has seen the movie. I know that both of you have seen the movie. This one we can't bullshit because I watched the movie with you, Max, because it was on HBO Max, and I went to go see it in theaters with Lauren. It was the first
exactly. So
audience would still guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but part of the experience was my experience was watching it with you people, so I couldn't hide it.
Fine.
But yes. So Lauren, you love music. Well, we all love musicals, but I'm gonna pick Lauren because I like her. What is your thoughts on In the Heights? You know, the perfect movie.
I would say, it's really fun to see on a big screen something that's akin to seeing I know there's the remake out right now, but of like West Side Story, when you have big scaled musical dance numbers in the streets and all that kind of stuff. It was like, it's a lot of fun to watch. That are some of the green screen effects a little jarring at times? Yeah, a little bit. But given that they were trying to produce this film in the middle of like pandemic stuff too, right? When they were trying to get this thing out, that you gotta give them credit that everybody was trying to transition from that point.
Yeah. In real life New York City, no less.
Yeah. So I personally think, is it the world's greatest musical film? No.
Yes.
There is no such thing. But is it something that I consider like worth it to see if you ever have the chance to see it on a big screen, or as big a screen as you can get? Yes, I highly recommend that, because it's one of those things that you should definitely enjoy on a bigger screen, because of the scale of the numbers, and the music's always a lot of fun too. So if you, and also, okay, gotta appreciate the nods to Hamilton that are seated throughout. It's so good. But I would say, because it's funny, because I loved it, but I wouldn't have said it was like, it was one of the landmark films of last year for me, but it was worth it to see. So I would probably put it in nice, if not because, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, your opinion's wrong.
Just because it's Lin-Manuel, I can't have a valid criticism of a Lin-Manuel movie.
Don't worry, Lauren. You might be joined by me soon in the off.
Oh.
Am I not allowed to say it's a nice film?
I think it's at least great stuff. I wouldn't put it in nice. So yes, you're wrong. But yeah, I will listen to your opinion. Your opinion is valid, but I'm also
that doesn't change the fact that I still love the soundtrack very, very much. So I mean, but I can isolate the soundtrack from the film if you want to be able to isolate the soundtrack from the film.
Well, fine. There you go. Max, why is your dumb opinion also just in the nice category?
No, I had a good time watching it. Good soundtrack, no surprise. I like Lynn's music. Yeah, it might be not what I am looking for. I mean, it has the grandness of everything, but it's like you have the life stories of all those individuals, and it's probably a great way to have this representation of especially this subculture that exists in New York, or is probably unknown and invisible to a lot of people. But as a movie to sit down, it's like I don't know. It's good. It's watchable. No? It's a big dance numbers that Lauren already pointed out, but I'm not sure if it's great stuff.
I disagree, and now I'm going to talk about why. I think this is one of the most beautiful musicals that have been made in a long time. And when you have films like Dear Evan Hansen, which I forgot to put on this list, but you know what? It doesn't deserve to be.
Did you really? List. I think we all just want to forget that it was a thing.
But when there's been so many musicals where they just forget that they're musicals. Like, unless they're animated. Animated musicals don't count. They know their assignment. But, like...
Yeah.
I don't know if people just thought that when you have a musical on the big screen, people don't like to see singing and dancing and bombastic things. That's kind of the point of a musical. That's why they do it on stage. Hello?
That's not my complaint at all.
I know I'm not talking about your complaints. I'm talking about my opinion. Don't interrupt me. I'll throw you away again.
Alright, keep going.
Yeah. You know what? Just for that sass, you're going in Max's hair again.
I wasn't sassing.
Why do I get her in my hair?
You're also, you know what? Be happy I'm not throwing you off the screen. I still have Garbage Man here somewhere that I could bring back. But yes, so besides that, I also think I adore the story. I think it's a beautiful story. And what they changed from the stage show to the movie, because the stage show didn't have all the dreamer immigration stuff that the movie has. And yeah, maybe that's an acquired taste for some people, because, you know, that is a very uncomfortable subject matter. Especially for, you know, the people who don't go through that stuff. But I think, like, it's a significant story to tell, especially on the grand scale that In the Heights presented. And I don't know, that it's a movie that made me think afterwards, because, you know, I will never have to worry about being deported and all this kind of stuff, or being treated as lesser because of where I came from and, you know, what's in my blood. And it you know, it just hit really hard. And you know, it also was a movie that I think, like, makes you feel prideful of where you came from, especially in, like, the I cannot pronounce it correctly. Carnaval de Barrio. And just, like, you know, them singing and waving their flags and just being proud of where they came from far away. It's like, you feel that pride, you feel like that air in your lungs, but you also just, I think, like, and when, you know, there's the you know, the scene on the train with Abuela and everything, to me, it just, I felt so much emotion. And when I saw it in the theaters, you could hear people crying during a particular part of the movie. And, like, I felt the goosebumps and everything. That's what I look for in a film. And I think if a film can make you feel that much emotion towards an experience that you have the privilege to never have to experience, because to make you feel that much towards another culture's plight, I feel like that is good enough to, I feel like that is reason enough to put it in great stuff. even masterpiece, but I can compromise with great stuff. I don't know if I'm swaying anyone here, but that's how I feel.
I will wave my flag just this once for you, Chrissy.
Cause that's the thing.
Because I know how much this movie means to you.
Well, and not just to me. I feel like this movie means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in your points all still stand completely. So that's why I'm waving my flag. You know what? Yeah, it can go into the great stuff category because, to your point, there aren't a lot of films that cover this and do it in a way that a lot of people can like grab a hold of it. Because
exactly.
because again, it was one of my biggest complaints is how many films go into the Oscars and they're just depressing as hell. Like, we have things to say and it's rough and it's bad and then it's like never palatable, and they all do it for the Oscar. That's all they do it for. And it's like, are they really saying something, or are they really just going to do it just for the Oscar and then they run off, right? It's like, you want to make sure that when your movie says something, it's saying something and in a way that the audience is really going to connect with it. Because otherwise, if something's too dark, too grim, too heavy for a lot of people to have as part of their palette, it becomes harder to associate with it because you realize that they focus so much more on the heavy aspects of it than the humanity. And And In the Heights does focus, because it's so centralized on communities, it does focus on the humanity, the people involved.
It also, like, I mean, that movie is really a found family trope kind of movie, because and it's something that I only experienced when I lived in Long Island, and that was in the early part of my life, of just, like, that community of people, like your neighbors and everything, like all of them visiting each other and basically knowing each other since childhood and all this kind of stuff, like, because you have like first generations, people who came off the boat, their children and everything, they're like one big family, and it's from, you know, their life experience, not their blood, and that to me is very beautiful, especially when we live in a time where I'm sure half of us don't even know our neighbors' names, let alone talk to them. But like,
I think that's another thing, and then that does depend on it does depend on where you live, because sometimes the communities are tighter knit depending on where you're at. But like, and then on top of that, you had COVID sweep in, and now suddenly you can't interact. Even if you did interact with people before, you can't now. And you're almost afraid to.
You know what? Maybe that maybe that also puts my butt. It was just nice to see a bunch of people be a community in a movie. Just, spending so much time inside by yourselves, it was nice just seeing that.
Yeah.
But look, I will concede. It's not a movie for everyone. But I think
it is far more palatable, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's a movie for everyone. It may not. Its subject matter and everything and style of music may not be what you look for in a musical and stuff. I will concede to that, and like Max's point, like, it may not be what you're looking for that particular genre of film. And that's fair. That's fine. With that, though, I think it's a film everyone should watch. Like, I think it may not be what you're looking for, but I think the message and the story it's trying to tell should be listened to.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said was the definition of great stuff, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you know what? That's sort of like, yeah, just put it in the great stuff, because it's all valid. So.
Also, can we appreciate Dad bod Lin-Manuel in that movie? Because oh my God, he looked he pulled off looking like a 40 like. He pulled off the Piragua look way too well. It was like,
his singing is better now than it was before too. So there's that.
We're gonna be getting back to Lynn singing later on in the movie, later on in this, because of Vivo. So yeah. He wins the Most Improved award. But yeah, there we go. Now another movie that I was very pleasantly surprised by how good it was My Little Pony: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Remember that we used to do pony stuff? Well, welcome back.
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Mocha Bear what?
But yes, some sort of remake of West Side Story from... No, it's not. It is not a remake of West Side
Charlie,
Story.
you have not been listening at all.
It's just Charlie being Charlie. Funny story though, because West Side Story and In the Heights were being filmed at the same time, like a block away from each other, Lynn snuck off the set of In the Heights to go see parts of West Side Story being filmed because he's a fucking nerd. So, but yes, My Little Pony: The Next Generation that got streamed on Netflix. It was surprisingly good. I would argue, I think it was better than some of the last seasons of Gen 4. That's for certain. And I think it's a perfectly good family movie. And I think the people who are just like, but what about the lore? What about the... I think your expectations need to be mitigated, and you're entitled. But, like... Also, why should we teach kids about racism? You should leave the room. But I think this is I really enjoyed this. It was a very nice looking... It was very pretty. I love... I can say this. I genuinely like all the main cast members, like, of the main 5.
Yeah.
And I immediately gravitated to them. I can't say that of Gen 4, because I did not like Rainbow Dash in the beginning. So... I'm sorry, Dusty. I'm still gonna say that I'm still not the biggest fan of Rainbow Dash. Exactly.
But yeah, no, I was gonna follow up with I completely agree that Gen 5 came out, bolting out of the gate with a really good start for Gen 5. The movie was really well done, beautifully animated. Amalu's work is very prevalent in the in the designs and color schemes of the new main 5. And I love that because they're very soft and fuzzy and in warm sherbet palettes. I love it.
I mean, Izzy is just a palette swap of your pony, so we know you're
yeah, everybody. Yeah, don't think I don't forget that everybody was saying, "Hey, look, it's Lauren," and it's and it's Izzy Moonbow. I mean, straight up same mane and everything. But you know what? And it's funny because I thought
on that note, how is your your law case law? Your case.
Oh, your lawsuit?
Your lawsuit against Hasbro coming along.
for IP infringement.
Yeah, no. I'm like, I'm not gonna battle that. I just have a coffee-colored horse, guys. She's just happy to be here. It's like everybody else has their OC interacting with like Rick and Celestia and stuff, and my horse just exists.
I like coffee.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes I drink cocoa with marshmallows in it. But
yes, the movie.
But the movie itself, yeah, some people will say, "Oh, but there wasn't like, what about the lore? What about this and that?" Oh, I'm like, I really liked this. Is okay. I will say that A New Generation did what the My Little Pony movie from 2017 should have done. Bit a smaller scale story. Didn't have to focus on so much being a continuation. It was almost trying to be a continuation of what was going on in the series, but also being its separate thing that then wasn't even connected to things. So
yeah, that existed, it was, didn't it?
Yeah, and so when you have A New Generation come in, the benefit is, yeah, it's a restart, right? We're getting in with a new cast of characters and a new timeline. So we're somewhere far into the future of Equestria, where I guess it's not even called Equestria anymore. I'm not sure.
It's like it's supposed to be like thousands upon thousands of years. Where the main cast we saw is basically ancient history.
Yeah, including Twilight, who who should be immortal, or at least just very ancient, I guess we've outlived her too.
She's floating in space. She banished herself.
And mortality finally confirmed. We can stop arguing.
But yes, they just have slowed aged.
Yeah, but what I like about the Gen 5 movie is it did a great job at establishing and introducing the new characters. And, like, I agree with you. There's not a single one I don't like. I was worried that was going to be the case, like what I had with, like, what I think everybody had with Gen 4. Is that no matter what, somebody had a pony or two that they didn't like. Mm-hmm. This one, I don't dislike any of them. I actually am looking forward to seeing more of them. I know everybody can complain about, quick villain redemption, like that's anything new to My Little Pony. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I know it was a quick wrap up.
In comparison and scale of villain things compared to changelings, fucking chaos destroying the world, all the other things that the fucking villains in MLP did. What Sprout did was fairly small scale. The only collateral he did was accidentally destroying Sunny's house.
Yeah, which again, I look forward to, like, seeing Sprout redeem himself over time. Like, they didn't really so much as, like, forgive him this time around. He did kind of sort of get off for that time being, but I look forward to seeing how he comes into play for the new generation, for the new series. Yeah. Because I do like Sprout. He's a little brat, and I kind of like him.
I love this little piss baby, and I'm going to talk about it. Is my impression. Mob. Okay, angry mob. That's one of the best songs in the movie. Like, I don't.
And that's saying something. And that's saying something because I love the songs in this one too. Gonna be my day.
I feel like we feel like there was a bit of a problem with the fact that Hitch didn't get his own song. But you know what?
I know, but we got a little bit of James Marsden singing, so I can't complain. We got a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I'm extremely mad. Just because Hitch is my favorite. Hitch is my... Also, that's something. We actually got a main male character in a pony thing that did something. That hadn't put... Yay! He's not
and he's a combination, Spike. And he's basically a combination of Fluttershy and Applejack's qualities, which is great because he's just like, I love how he's just like, all these animals follow me, they like me, I don't know why.
I do love it.
He has an animal magnetism to him, and I think that's so freaking funny, and he doesn't understand why he has that.
He has magnetism, all right. But yes, I think you and I have gushed about the movie enough. What about you, Max? What about the old curmudgeon?
Where are you even leaning at the moment? With all the gashing,
I
think it's a masterpiece.
No, okay, fine. That's fair. I'm going to put it at nice. I think it's a nice, because I don't think, don't crucify me for this, chat. I don't think MLP is required viewing, and I do think that, like, it's, like I said at the beginning, I think it's a really good family movie. I think it's something you could sit down with, like, your little cousin and stuff, or you can watch it on your own and have yeah, this was a very pleasant thing. I didn't waste my time watching it, but I do not think it's like, I don't think it's like Luca. There we go, because I'm not going to compare it to In the Heights, because Jesus Christ. But I think it's really nice. I think it teaches a good lesson, and I do think, like, if you have someone in the younger generation in your family, I think this is a good movie to show them. I think it tackles the subject matter of, preconceived notions of other people and everything. I think it handles it really well and in a really approachable way for kids. I think people who complain that shouldn't be something kids need to experience is... But besides that, I think it's a perfectly nice movie. So yeah, that's where I lean.
Yeah. Okay, so jump in now with my own thing. I mean, you guys talked about it for a bit, so I probably don't have to say too much about it. Coming from the analysis background, yes, of course, I could go nuts over how it basically screws over continuity and whatnot, but I watched it more as its own standalone. I didn't treat it in my head as a direct sequel. And this way I enjoyed it greatly, and I can confirm I didn't have a single character I disliked. It had enough of the old stuff in it that it felt like, yeah, that is kind of the same universe, even though a lot of stuff got changed. Again, I see it more as a reboot. I mean, they played homage to it, and they borrowed stuff from the from G4, but I personally, unless they then go forward and confirm more and more that G4 is the actual history and not just the mythology of this world, then, but even then, my nitpicky analysis days are probably over. And yeah, I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I would agree with this statement from very early on that this movie was better than some of the stuff in the G4 show towards the end. All around a good thing. So nice.
Yeah, look at us. Look at this very even list so far. It's great to see Ryan Reynolds equal a pony. That's great.
Okay, but now all we need is Ryan Reynolds in My Little Pony now.
Yeah. Now, okay.
What is this decapitated head? Is this
I know
Dune?
this is Dune Part 1. So
because that's the thing. Lauren and I can only see like the top quarter of each.
Okay, well, okay. I can scroll down a little bit, but then we
there
miss
we go.
Masterpiece. But no. See, this is why I'm going to do reveals. So be patient, you babies. But yes. Okay, so I have a very quick opinion on Dune Part 1. It's good. I think it's a very well done movie. I like it. There is just part of me that the nostalgia blinded part of me that will always prefer the great in concept but not execution Lynch version from the 80s, but that's because I'm trash. But I do think it's very well done. I think everyone in the movie did a great job. I think also part of me, I'm exhausted by long movies. That is not Dune's fault. That is a trend that everyone tried to be a copycat after Endgame. I need to use the bathroom so bad in half of the movies in 2021.
Yeah.
Please. This is why streaming is so good. I can pause it. But I saw Dune in theaters. I couldn't pause that unless I faked a heart attack and made the movie theater stop. But no, I think it's perfectly good. I think like there's enough merit in there for great stuff, but I don't know, maybe Dune is just a property that doesn't leave a giant impression with me, so I'm not the best maybe it's not what I'm looking for.
Is this the thing?
Well, look, it's I maybe I need to watch it again, but this feels like a movie I need to be in a certain mood to watch, and I don't think I'm in that mood often. But yeah, there's my.
I have to be? It isn't what I was looking for. Is this a 2022 catchphrase, which is now replacing X had to walk so Y could run?
Well, that catchphrase had to walk, so this catchphrase could run. But yes, that was my opinion on Dune. I feel like I know that Lauren has an opinion on Dune because of someone's reply to the promo tweet for this show, for this stream. And I know you have opinions on Dune because you talked about it on Awkward. So, Max, why don't you go first? You were patient and quiet during our pony gushing.
Yeah. Then again, I'm probably not having too much to say on Dune because, I mean, as I said on Awkward, Denim and I actually went and watched the classic Dune first before
Pre-gaming.
watching the exactly pre-gaming, like not on the same day, but I believe the previous day or 2 days before, we specifically sat down. We're like, okay, let's first watch the classic and then watch the new one to compare notes. And I am the anti-Chrissy in that regard. Because I would say like, hey, it's actually watchable as a movie, and therefore I would put the new Dune over the old one. I mean, the old one has visual stuff going on, which is probably clips and pieces and set pieces and whatnot are kind of must-see in the old Dune. But as a movie, Jesus.
That's why I said great in concept, not in execution.
Yeah, but still, I would just prefer the new one. But yeah, the new one, it's a grand epic. I have to say, despite it being such a long movie and despite Dune being probably by its story, by its pacing and whatnot, brutal to adapt to movie. I sat through it. I wasn't bored. I felt intrigued. Even with this slow-burning story, they managed to build in to have interesting elements go on. They managed to integrate, especially in comparison to the old one, they managed to integrate. Not backstory, not lore. What do you call it? Exposition. They managed to put exposition in there so much better and more natural.
That is true.
Yes. And therefore, but yeah, where would I put it on this list? I would put it in the upper half for sure. However, I don't think it's a masterpiece. Is it great stuff? I don't think it's a must-see. If you're looking for a grand epic with CGI and proper pacing, and you need something that is not part of a cinematic universe, and it's good stuff, and I would recommend it. But I would not go out there and be like, "Whoa, that's really great. That's a must-see." It's like, if you're into this genre, then yeah, you should probably watch it because it's a modern iteration. It's a sci-fi IP that has not had this kind of a proper polished incarnation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nice would be my verdict.
Okay, what about you, Lauren?
Well.
Oh God. Are we gonna get our first airplane movie?
Are we getting crime against humanity?
I am literally gonna say this is an airplane movie because I am. Look, and this is somebody where yes, I did actually like. I like it, like you, Chrissy. I am trash. I like the original Dune, but I'm not making this as an argument to say, oh, but the original Dune was better. No, it has its problems, plenty. Because guess what? Dune is really hard to adapt to film properly.
Amen,
so that's not even the fault of either filmmaker attempting this. So it's the content itself, which sometimes it's like some things are better that you leave them as text, but in terms of visuals, it's like, okay, this movie was grand and big, yes, the visual effects really good, but by God, did this have to be a part one? This felt like it took forever for everything to happen. And then on top of that, the sound mixing wasn't good because guess what? Everybody either mumbled and had an accent, which didn't help when then they're mumbling to each other over the fucking Hans Zimmer score. And I'm like, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, fair warning to people. If you have auditory processing issues, this is kind of like Tenet. You may have a bit of a problem. Because when I was watching it in the theater, I heard the guy next to me, who I guess had an auditory problem, because he was just like, he was constantly mumbling, what is he saying? Like, message it, like, to the person next to them. And I for once, was not, like, annoyed by a person talking during the movie. Oh, thank you, Singing Guy, for the $5 tip, saying hi. Because, like, yeah, they mumble a lot. And it
drives me up the wall, considering the only way you can catch on to what's going on is through people talking. So that's kind of a problem when you can't understand the people talking.
Yeah, if you're watching
because there's
this
so
on
much
streaming,
exposition
turn on
done.
subtitles.
There's so much verbal exposition done that you have to have subtitles on it, and it's like that's what I literally had. I was like trying to catch on to everything, going like, am I gonna have to rewind this and put the subtitles on? Because what I watched it on streaming. That's what I did. So at the very least, yes, I did have the luxury of like, where if I could pause it, I could do that, right? But then that would just make the whole thing longer. It was so long, unnecessarily long. It took too long to get from point A to point B. And I know because there's a lot of like diplomatic stuff that goes on. There's a lot of, explaining things, and yes, exposition had to be put out there. But it's like I was just going, when's the frickin' worm gonna show up? And then when the worm showed up, that was the most exciting part for me because I'm like, good, this is what I was waiting for.
I'm having a great time hearing this rant. And I don't know if I even agree with most of the points, but hearing Lauren just go on a movie rant is entertaining.
Lauren, what you are saying is Dune was not what you were expecting from this kind of movie.
Yes, fine, yes. But it was, yeah, I just think, again, like I agree with you on the trend of films running like 2 hours and 30 minutes each. That's way too long. Way too long. I don't know why that had to have, like, everybody had to copycat Endgame with how to make them these big events. I'm like, only if your movie is worth that time. Like, if you're a Peter Jackson,
10 years of homework, like,
if you're Peter Jackson and you're doing Lord of the Rings, you have more justification to do that. If you have, it's hard with Dune, again, with how things are in the book versus the films and stuff like that. It's a very hard book to adapt to film. I at least give David Lynch credit, even though he may look back on it and go, that was shit. He literally hates looking back on Dune. But I will give him credit that he tried to put it all into one movie. I know it's daunting to do that, but he at least tried.
Okay. So
also not a fan of it being so color muted in the new Dune. I really don't like looking at just brown. I don't care if it's in the middle of the desert. At least when you looked at the desert in the original Dune, it had more color to it. They made it look more like outlandish and extraterrestrial. It's like,
I guess movies currently go through the phase that video games already went through, where everything needs to be realistic and gritty and gray.
The real world is not even that realistically gritty and gray. It's actually quite colorful.
It never is. It never is. When you're going for a realistic gritty and gray, it is always grittier and grayer than reality.
For a point of reference, I remember people when a Beyonce Lion King was coming out, and the Circle of Life part came, and people are like, why is the Sahara so dull? And it's like, oh, well, it's just not it. Have you ever seen nature pictures of the Sahara? It's
gorgeous.
Savannah.
The Savannah,
And even the Sahara Desert and all this kind of stuff. Like, the world is very pretty and colorful, and you guys are and even I don't know if everyone's watched it, but the show Aeon Flux. There are desert sequences in that show. Like, you can have a desert be not crusty and dusty, it's not that hard. Point being, I can go between nice and airplane. I'm very ambivalent. Do you have any counterpoints, Max, to why it should be like nice, or are we conceding to Lauren? Like, what do you think?
Here's the thing where I'm might actually be swayed. It's like with Lauren went Into the Heights, where she was like, oh, okay, this must-see aspect because of the impact that the movie has is something worth accounting for. In this case, it's the other way around. I forgot about the audio mixing, and that it actually made it took away from the experience, that you actually had a hard time understanding people at times, which is like, that is something that makes a movie worse. So, now does it still mean that?
If you want a better rendition of part 1, just go watch the bad lip reading version.
The bad lip reading version is great, but yeah, I feel like, you know why it should be an airplane? Because that way on an airplane you could turn on subtitles.
Hey.
But yeah,
Yeah,
also, depending on how long your flight is, it could be as long as your flight, if not.
It's
a little less.
It's great for your long haul international flights.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm also between airplane movie and Nice, and Lauren made probably the most passionate plaidoyer stand for the airplane. So yeah,
yes.
Let's go there.
So
next one.
So I think the next one we're going to be on a happier note. The next one.
Oh, can I throw in one more point?
Okay, go ahead. That last
Timothy Chalamet is no Kyle MacLachlan. There, I said it.
Okay, look. You don't need to commit war crimes just because you don't like this movie, Lauren. Don't you insult Timothy Chalamet in my presence.
He's a douche. You haven't heard of how much of a douche he is?
Yeah, but he's a well-acting douche. But also, we're not going to slander Zendaya in this movie. She did great.
No. Zendaya's on. Well, she's barely in it, so I can't even.
I was about to say, she runs around in the fucking dream sequences, and then at the end she's all just grumpy in the background.
That's why I crack up at the bad lip reading. Is like when they dub her going, "This is one of my lines," and then him going, "And that's it."
Yes, I just refuse to ever hear besmirching of one of my favorite actresses at the moment, because she is great and I love her.
But here's the thing. This kind of movie is not what I expect from a movie where Zendaya is on the poster.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on from Dune. I didn't think we would have a longer conversation in the Heights, but Jesus Christ. Okay. She can't slander Zendaya, she wasn't there. Okay. Thank you, Also, Charlie, just to say that you don't have the tolerance for a Part 1 movie, I hope your opinion changes when the next Spider-Verse comes out. Because, that's an event.
That's a different story. Spider-Verse has stuff happening constantly through it, and it was very well paced from the first one.
But we're not talking about Spider-Verse right now. We're talking about a movie that,
Oops.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, that was just one of my cords got caught on my foot.
But we're talking about a movie that I feel like a lot of people in the chat are going to be happy about, that I'm happy about, that TikTok's definitely happy about because my whole timeline is full of things about it. Encanto! I'm just going to place it right here for now, just so I don't have to hold on to it. So,
apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
I mean, we can't talk about Bruno. No. Which, by the way, apparently that is the most streamed song right now on, like, Spotify and shit. Which, you know what? Good for them!
Everybody's talking about Bruno, as he deserves.
It is the more tolerable Let It Go. So I'm happy about that. But yes, so for reference, if you know my opinion of this movie, I've seen this movie twice in theaters, and I plan to see it again. Because this movie's beautiful on screen. Like, oh my god. It is the most colorful, beautiful. I mean, it's no surprise how beautiful it is, because Colombia is beautiful. But, like, I adore this movie. Look, I will concede to people if we need to move it down and stuff, but this was the most fun I've had with a Disney movie in a long time. Like, I think it's just, I love all the characters, the visuals, this is the best Lin-Manuel soundtrack. I'm gonna lay my hands on the table and say this is the best music Lin has ever made, and it's also very relatable. If you ever had to be that member of the family who had to carry burdens or felt like you'll never be enough and all that kind of stuff, this movie is a call-out post. I feel like it's a great representation of, like, dynamics in Latino families, and or I don't know if Latino is the correct word for all South American cultures.
You can say it's
I just want to use correct terminology, because I know that there's also the point of contention that not all people who are in Central or South American countries like being referred to as Hispanic, because that means they come specifically from Spain.
Exactly.
I want to be correct.
What was the hip new thing? X.
No, they don't. No, they say don't say that. So
that is not okay. That's a no word. But
politicians told me that this is the one true political correct way to address them.
But also, like, just to say, because I had a conversation with people on Twitter about an actual civil conversation on Twitter. Wow.
They can't happen.
Yeah, already calling bullshit. This story can't be real.
Latino is correct. Thank you, Charlie. In that, because I know a lot of people have a criticism. I don't even think it's a criticism. I think it's them reflecting their own trauma or their own, like, family dynamics onto the movie, in that, like, a lot of people don't like the abuela's forgiveness, getting forgiven, and how they handled that, especially when it comes to the topic of intergenerational trauma. And I will say, as someone who has gone no contact with toxic people in my life, I think this movie handled it well, and I think there is a place for rebuilding family connections and going and processing through trauma together as a family unit, as well as the ones where you cut ties with people. Especially since Abuela's not a villain, she's an antagonist. But in the loosest way, by the way. Like, the true antagonist is intergenerational trauma caused by traumatic civil war events, basically. Basically,
internally displaced. So
yeah, like it is the antagonist of the movie is war crimes. No. But like,
yes.
And the villain gets reformed. Wait, what?
I think Charlie puts it best. Encanto is a movie that says that family is worth sticking for, and somehow people think it's a bad thing. I think it's also the thing that Abuela actually wants to make the active effort to be better and acknowledges the pain she's put people through and wants to fix it. Which apparently, according to a lot of the people I know who come from Latino families, that is the most suspension of disbelief, which, oof. But I think the real villain is the three guys with the machetes. Yeah.
Or like and I think like what they said was like they kept them faceless because they were basically a manifestation. They were like an embodiment
of an actual
everything going on in Colombia for generations, and like especially when they say that in the time period of 50 years prior to the events in Encanto, is that I know it technically doesn't really have a specific time period, but it is roughly estimated that it's like the early 1900s when Abuela is and her husband and their whole community is displaced.
Something along there, at least because we know, because of how Bruno plays with his rats, that TV apparently does exist. So, because he talks about telenovelas, but like, it's a forbidden love, because you see, he can't.
Yeah, so that's why they're saying it's like the 50s, like roughly the 50s, maybe early 60s, but probably around the 50s.
Point being, that was just the point I wanted to bring up, because I know that's a point of contention with the movie, but I feel like that is simply, there are family dynamics and things that are not tackled enough well, and I think we've had so many examples in media of people forgiving bad members of forgiving people that shouldn't be forgiven. So when we actually have an example of someone who acknowledges how bad their actions was and wants to fix it, that we just don't react well to when the forgiveness happens, because we've had so many bad examples.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I just think this movie is great. I love all the family. The family is amazing. I like even it says something that I have seen love for every single character, every single family member of the Madrigals, even the ones that only have 7 minutes of screen time in the movie, like Camilo and Dolores. Like, how much Dolores fan art have I seen?
Dolores, I saw she ranked #1 on some like fan list of like #1 favorite character on that whole of the Madrigal family. So I thought that was interesting.
And like, there's love for Mirabel and Bruno and Tia Peppa, who's my spirit animal, and Felix. There's just so much good in that movie, and I don't really know how I would improve upon it. And you know, maybe there are people who are more from that culture that can pick apart and choose things to improve upon, and that's valid. But from someone who's just a casual viewer, I don't really think of ways to improve upon it. I think it's a very well done interpersonal story, and like with Luca, I love the direction Disney's taking with doing more interpersonal stories where the conflict is just more contained. Especially since Raya's on this list, and I have problems with Raya. I'm glad that they're putting their ambition into a more concentrated setting than doing too much at once. And all for magical realism in this household. And yes. Also, Dolores' gift is a curse, and I don't think that's a hot take. Who would want the ability to never stop hearing what people say? Do you know how many babies she's probably heard being conceived since she's, 5 years old?
And the sad thing is how many people don't trust her because she hears everything.
Yeah, I really hope Dolores is soundproof. But yeah, that's my opinion. That was me gushing. What about you two?
I think I agree with you. I think it goes into masterpiece category, and not just because a popular movie, woo. It is something that I feel like is an important film that even if people haven't grown up with it, there's something for everybody to experience through it, whether or not that was their family dynamic. There's a huge relatability aspect to this family, and again, that comes from the plot being so contained to literally just the family and their house, pretty much. So
their casita.
I love that it focuses on generational trauma and that how they address it. And then again, I'd like to also in Far the Tree, the short that came before it, also came through and connected to the theme of Encanto with generational trauma and having to like learn to be better from, and saying we're not repeating the mistakes of our ancestors and stuff, or the ones that came before us. We're going to break the cycles and start anew. And I love that they did that here with Encanto. If there's any particular movie that really does, I know they're doing for Disney Plus, they're making a Moana series and a Tiana series and all that kind of stuff. But if there's any one movie that definitely deserves, because not everybody gets enough screen time, is this one, that they deserve a series that focuses on this family and allows the rest of the family members to have more moments to shine. Especially like poor Camilo. I know he's popular, but he doesn't have much time, and neither does Dolores. But she gets more moments than he does, and so
I want more of
I want more Antonio too. I want more of my little animal-loving child, my little son.
Oh, Antonio's so fucking cute. But yes, so I'll let Max say his points, and then after I want to point out what Charlie wrote in the chat, because I think it's a really great argument to make for why Encanto should stay in the masterpiece section, or at least being great stuff, because it's a really good point. But Max, you are one of the main idiots, so you can say your points first.
Yeah.
Did you see this in theaters or on stream? I think you saw it in theaters, right?
I believe theaters. Yes.
Okay, good. Watch it the proper way.
I was very surprised when I heard that it was already on Disney Plus, and I'm like, what? I just saw it the other week in cinema.
They had a 30-day window of exclusivity, which I think is fair. Like, I understand people not wanting to go to the theater, but I think the film is gorgeous enough that it did need to have at least a period of time where you can see it.
Yeah.
But but anyways, go ahead.
But here's the thing. For a movie about family, it was not really what I expected. Where were the cast? Where was Vin Diesel? I mean, Jesus, not a single proper stunt. I mean, most of the stunt stuff happened in musical numbers, which are probably non-diegetic. I mean, I'm not sure. There's literally.
I don't know. Mirabel climbs on those roofs a lot in that movie. I think that there's some I think that she at least
not at
has
high
some
speed. Where's the high speed? Nobody was fast, nobody was furious in this movie.
Excuse me, are you telling me that my buff baby girl does not have, like, come on now. She lifts up churches.
Yeah, but she's not furious when she does it. She does it because she's a good girl. But yeah,
she is a strong girl who likes dresses and bows. Let her be her.
And her unicorn donkeys. She is precious.
Yes, let her have her donkey corns.
Me and Lauren are just doing that fucking meme with the girl holding the guy and doing the little finger thing.
That was the holding Kevin Hart meme. The just like, hey, no slandering Louisa.
Your actual opinion.
Agreeing with the entire thing about making it, while it is so fantastical, still not big scheme, not big. They made it down to earth. They made it ironically giving the entire setup of this story about the family and the magic was just a very pretty set piece,
which is actually a type of Colombian literature. Correct me if I'm wrong, Odie. It's called magical realism. Yeah. Go ahead.
Either way, I very much enjoyed this and the small scale of it in the face of the bigness of the theoretical bigness of it. Great music, great characters. We have a certain other ensemble cast movie later on the list where they utterly fail to create any personality or impression for the vast majority of the ensemble cast, while here it's the exact opposite. It's like they are all so distinct that even with their few moments of screen time, you could ask me to put write down or point out all the members of the family. I would be capable of. I'm not sure if I probably, with a little bit of thinking and whatnot, I might be able to do it for the other movie as well, but here definitely
not as enthusiastically.
Also that lack of enthusiasm. But yeah, no, here a bunch of very likable characters. But yeah, is it a masterpiece? Or it's definitely great stuff at the very least.
But should I say Charlie's argument? Because I think Charlie's argument is actually okay. I think since Charlie is someone from that culture, there's a lot of reverence when they say it. Encanto is a masterpiece because it made my abuela admit she wasn't taught right in the past. That's like, oh, like, because that's a bit to, that's kind of it's a movie that perfectly tells the story it was set out to tell. I think that's such an important, if a movie has that kind of ability to make the previous generation actually observe that kind of thing. And I've heard from people when they were watching the movie, and they have that realization when they hear Luisa's song, and them being the oldest sibling, or they are that family member that has to carry all the family burdens and everything. That realizing, oh, maybe what I went through wasn't normal, and not okay, which is big. Also, this movie got me choked up 3 times. Fucking Bruno's plate.
Oh, yes.
There were the 3 moments that made me choke up were Bruno's plate, Antonio holding out his hand and saying, "I need you." It's like, oh, my baby boy. And then
and Dos Oreguitas.
Yeah, that song, that whole I have never seen a Disney character be animated with such anguish on their face.
Yeah.
Also, great point to say. I will stop the term here. I will stop gushing about this movie. They actually animated the girls, so we finally have a Disney movie that animates females to do expressions that aren't just pretty.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we have expressive female animation. And on top of
that, the mannerisms were all clearly they did their research to make sure that even the mannerisms, speaking without words, when they basically do
Mirabelle
like the little
pointing with
lip
her
movements, Dolores' little chirps.
Little, yeah, it's all so good. I love this movie. And I have listened to that soundtrack over and over and over and over and over and over. I mean, I'm going to be Peppa in a group cover of We Don't Talk About Bruno. Which, by the way, someone Denim asked, which Madrigals have the worst gifts? Basically half of Peppa's side of the family. Like, because Dolores' gift is a curse. Can you imagine being Peppa? And that, like, your emotions control the weather, so you constantly have to have an absence of emotion? Like, I feel so bad for her. Like, she just... Also, imagine her being pregnant and giving birth. There must have been fucking hurricanes. I would be terrified. Felix is a fucking keeper by being able to calm that woman down. Mm-hmm. But yes, but also Bruno is best boy. I love Bruno. Who doesn't love Bruno? If you don't like Bruno, you're just an incorrect person. You're valid, but you're incorrect. But yes, I would say this is the first masterpiece film for me. I don't know if you guys agree.
Not gonna.
No, I agree.
Wow, there you go, Mirabelle. Your gift is being a masterpiece to 3 white people.
And look at and we looked at the film for what it really set out to do. Apparently, a bunch of kids on Tumblr thought it was about, which it wasn't.
It's the thing of like it's the thing of like the culture disconnect, and also like coding things in a way that it shouldn't. Because I know a lot of people are trying to code this as a gay allegory or a disability allegory. The disability one has a little bit more weight to it, but yeah.
I'm like, at least buy it more with Luca. Like, Luca definitely sets out more to do that, and that's fine. And even the director's like, hey, if that's the way you see it, that's cool. Because it's meant to be something that can be interpreted widely, depending on who sees it.
So
Encanto, not so much.
This one I think we'll have less to say about, which good. But like, I think it's perfectly. I think my opinion's already nice, and that is a little film called Arlo the Alligator Boy.
Yeah.
I think this movie is a very cozy movie. Very cute animation. A thing I appreciate about the animation is that it's not on model all the time. And I mean that in the best way possible, because it gives the impression of like older Disney, older Warner Brothers things, where you can kind of tell when a specific animator is taking up a shot because they just have certain motifs and how they draw or how the characters move, which I love, because I'm an animator. I'm a fucking nerd. Take my lunch money. And also, the soundtrack's a fucking bop. I love the soundtrack of this movie, and Arlo is an infectiously nice character. I thought his character would be so easy to make obnoxious, because he's just so chipper. He's like SpongeBob levels of chipper, but he's like season 1 era of SpongeBob, where you just like him. He's a good boy, and it's shocking that this was the guy's first acting role. Because apparently he was an American Idol finalist before this. So, no acting experience. And it's like, wow, you did a really good job. I like you. Have a cupcake. But, like, I don't think this movie breaks any ground, though. I know that the art style may be a turnoff for some people. And which, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to like how a movie looks. But, I also think, like, it's not required. I put it in the same level as the My Little Pony movie, in that, which is also on Netflix. I think it's a perfectly good family movie, and adults will not lose anything from watching it. In fact, they'll gain, because they'll get a good soundtrack out of it, and at least 1 or 2 earworms. And, you know, I also, they're both pilot movies when you think about it, given that both of them are one getting a series or one already has a series.
Exactly.
Which, great first impressions of the characters. So, yeah. I think I'm very firm in that I think it's a nice movie. What about you, Max? Since Lauren talked a lot during
I will once again not have much to say. I mean, it was kind of not what I expected from this movie, since all the
I'm gonna
characters.
punch you if I hear not what I expected again.
You see, Arlo the movie had to walk so that Arlo the series could run.
Okay, where is your browser source? You're grounded, young man.
As I was saying about Arlo the movie, yeah, it's basically what I would agree with you. It's like it's a nice one. You can definitely watch it. You can recommend it in good conscience. It has nice movie, but nothing that were really too groundbreaking, too must watch. So yeah, nice sounds good. Nice sounds good.
All right, you can come back now. What about you, Lauren? Are you gonna just agree on the nice train?
Yeah, I'm in the same ballpark. Yeah, like to your point, yeah, I'm like that two pilot films. But yeah, Arlo is a straight up feel good movie and a great way to set the tone for the show that followed after. Which, if you guys haven't seen it, it's I Heart Arlo. But there was clearly a lot of love and care that went into making this pilot. So it's like, and the music's, yes, a bop. I mean, God only knows how many times we've been in our calls and people are humming it absentmindedly. You know, I want more. You know, it's a fun soundtrack, and the animation. Oh my God, yeah. Follow Me Home has a freaking amazing sequence, and really well choreographed and just gorgeous, visually gorgeous. But at the same time, yeah, what it is it is a family film. It's setting the tone for a series that would be a family series for Netflix. Yeah. It definitely has the younger audience in mind. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Except for that fish character. That fish character was made for parents and adults, especially with him wanting to just hurt children.
Yeah, Marcellus, and just go like, you're better than this. No, I'm not.
That
like the jokes in there were really good. It is really well written, honestly.
My favorite joke in that whole movie is when after they break the fish out of prison and they're at the beach and he's just thanking Arlo, being like, "Hey, thanks for breaking me out." "Oh, anytime." "No, never again." It's great because he's the conspiracy theorist guy on Stranger Things, right?
Yep.
He's just as good as you think he would be at that kind of character. But
yeah,
and so there we go.
And then it was Jonathan Van Ness who plays Felicia on there too. I love that Jonathan gets a cameo himself in one of the scenes. So it's just Felicia. It's just Jonathan meeting himself.
We love our favorite they queer eye hair boy. But yes.
I highly recommend, I personally, on a personal note, I recommend giving it a watch, especially for something really nice and feel good. And is it a groundbreaker? No. Yeah, but it's like, it's a nice, enjoyable comfort flick. It's cozy. Like you said, it's cozy.
Yes, and we need cozy in these dark, cold times. But yes, I think the next movie, will also be going up into Masterpiece, and that is Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we need
to park the ones that we talk about somewhere. Should we park the one we talk about into In Crime Against Humanity until we move it up?
Fine.
Hopefully we don't have
wrong.
any actual. I know, but this gives us more motivation to move it up until we have an actual crime against humanity. Then we have to see how to process from there.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I know me and Lauren can gush about this movie because this is an animator's porno when it comes to it. So let's
that's called a hentai.
Anime is just boring hentai. Anyways, with that statement, let's have the filthy casual talk about this movie. Max, what did you think of Mitchell's versus the Machines?
Excellent. I very much thank you for this arrangement, because then when you two gush for the next 20 minutes over the movie, then I can
go to the bathroom.
Exactly. Now, Mitchell vs. Machine. Yes, it's might be the only movie on this list. Let me go over my list. Okay, the statement is not 100% true. It is one of the very very few movies on that list that I watched twice on my personal list, which I actually have seen. So yeah, because I enjoyed it that much that I was like, hey, I need to share this with more people, so I watched it again. It's also another movie about family, funny enough.
This has more car action then, though, so you could actually make a Fast and the Furious comparison.
But this time it's actually going up to the grand scheme. And so see, I was expecting a movie about a dorky family, but it's not what I expected. What I got was a robot apocalypse. And, but yeah, whatever Sony movie came previously had to walk so that Mitchells could run and shoot rockets. Yeah, Spider-Verse walked so that Mitchells vs. Machines could run.
I'm just gonna, let's see, where's the browser? I'm not gonna throw you away because then your mic got fucked up when you were trying to do the little echoing thing. So we're just gonna make you... There we go.
I'll enjoy this for the time being.
Fair enough. So my thoughts are Mitchells vs. Machines.
I regret everything.
What are you talking about? No,
this was a mistake!
No, I mean, it's I'm not sure if it's a right away master. I looked over the list, over my list, what I have seen, and I didn't have anything in there that I actually would have put by myself into masterpiece. So I'm at the same time more like, yeah, if you guys make good points, then sure. Otherwise,
but
the
masterpiece
row would stay empty.
How's this going to work with us trying to make points about how this is a masterpiece if you're going to take a piss while we're talking about the movie?
Yeah, I kind of already granted that if you make good points and convince each other and the audience, then I will not fight you over it when it comes to Mitchells vs. Machines, because, as I said, one of two movies on my list that I watched more than once this year.
All right, well, that's fair.
And it has also every character in this family is like also very memorable, very unique, but at the same time, why most of the characters and their features and the whatnot are played for jokes for the majority of the movie, it still pulls off an authentic turn to the heartfelt aspect. Like it feels organic, it feels natural, it feels believable. But yeah, on the other end, what I just enjoy, it's fucking funny as hell. It has great action, even though we are still following this family of goofballs, and yet, I mean, you could argue that they are maybe getting a little bit overpowered in the finale.
Hey, look, a mother's love for her baby boy will give anyone strength. There are parents who lift. There's enough. It's been proven that parents can get enough adrenaline in a car accident to lift a car up if it meant saving their child. I can fully believe that Maya Rudolph mom is beating the shit out of robots.
But my point being, even if I would make a point that they get a little bit superpowered in the final moments of the movie, it still feels fitting. It doesn't feel out of place because the movie was silly and over the top the entire time, so it still works. So good shit.
Now, before you go, we need to appreciate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Before you go, we have to appreciate the best character in this movie, which is Monchi. Who doesn't want to go for bread?
I don't know. Is he
dog, pig, wolf of bread.
I love that dog. that is the most adorable design for a pug I've ever seen in animation.
No, I have to say the dog is actually probably the most unrealistic and least believable aspect of this entire movie, including robot apocalypse, final fight, and everything. How old is this dog supposed to be? He's already a grown-up adult dog in her first movie that she makes, and then years later, he is still good and around. I have seen enough dogs. Dogs don't age that well.
Hey, he could have just been a very chunky puppy.
Didn't change at all in a decade. A dog does change within a decade.
Okay, to all the people that are commenting in chat, why is it in Crimes? Guys, we just haven't placed it yet. We're already we're gushing about the movie. Please do not freak out.
It's not in Crimes.
It's not in Crimes because we think so. It's literally just setting it in place so that we have a poster to look at right now.
Because I was going to have it sit in Masterpiece, but Max was like, no, blame him.
Okay. Suggestion. Add an extra row, which is blue, which is above Crimes Against Humanity, so that Crimes Against Humanity are off screen while we are not using them, and this blue column is just being judged or whatever.
Being judged.
I have to change the color for some reason. Let's make it pink.
Oh yeah,
pink is a judgment. Pink is a judgmental color.
Pink is the most judgmental color of them all.
Yeah, haven't you ever seen Mean Girls?
Is brown? Oh yeah, good.
It's not Wednesday.
Is brown an available color? Then we could make Crimes Against Humanity brown.
No, as much as I would have loved to make it a poopy brown, it's not. Okay, wait. Yeah, we can make it. Oh, Yeah, let's make it gray. Gray for trash.
Yeah,
there we go.
Excellent.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
so sad looking. But yes. Now you can go. You're free to go use the bathroom. Me and Lauren are gonna gush now.
Yeah. I will take my microphone with me into the bathroom so that you guys don't miss anything.
No.
I feel like I don't want to take too much time because we still have so many more movies to go.
But
you and I are in agreement.
But now we have to fill time until he's done pissing. So.
So anyway, I'm in agreement with you being like, it's such a fun film. And again, this is also, it also ends up riling up the crowd of going like, oh, but the dad was like shit and stuff like that. I'm like, he wasn't. He was. If you like Goofy Movie and don't like Mitchells, then you're being a hypocrite because it's the same sort of trope where you have a father who has a disconnect with their teenage kid and they're trying to reconnect with them through a road trip, or more or less a robot apocalypse this time around, but. And it's a dad who clearly he cares. He just doesn't know how to properly communicate with his kid who is growing up and has her interests and stuff like that. And he's not ready to part with her yet and stuff like that. It's a lot of that relatability there. And does that make him right? No, but it also doesn't make her right either, because she's also kind of like, even when she wants to connect with them, sometimes she refuses that connection because she feels like she's being ignored. And so when he does come around, she's not receiving it, right? So it's why the original film, the title was Connected. It had double meaning. So it wasn't just connection through technology. It was connection to the kid. It's from a parent to their kid. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and like, I agree. The only difference between Goofy and this dad is that this dad is just Saberspark. So, but also like with that, I adore the character design in this movie. I love that the characters' faces are like asymmetrical. Like when you look at Katie's eyes, they're not perfect, which by the way makes me feel seen because my eyes are asymmetrical and I was always insecure about it growing up. I love that the concept art in the movie, they look one and the same when you look at the concept art together. The movie is beautiful looking, like how they mimic like this kind of marker paint strokey style. I love it. I adore how it looks. I adore how it sounds. I love the little boy. That son is one of my favorite characters, and I know some people are like, why is he voiced by the creator? You know what? It just adds to how weird he is. I love him.
And how do you and again, how do you not know that with him growing, right? Like when he's like, hey, that was me. I feel like I could embody that pretty well because that was me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and I was that kid growing up that loved dinosaurs, and to be honest, I'm still that kid that loves dinosaurs.
Yeah,
but
yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry, I was mumbling.
No. I mean, I really
was pulling
kind
a Dune, but like.
But yeah, no. Also, I do love the part with the dad trying to figure out the technology and how that became a meme. That was pretty. The computer going like, why?
I will say, I think it handled a dad trying to figure out figure out technology better than the scene in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs trying to figure out Flint's computer.
Far too close to reality.
Which, by the way, I do love that scene in Cloudy, because apparently they actually had the two actors record over a phone. Like, you know, they were talking into mics, but they were talking to each other in separate booths on a phone, and it actually frustrated Bill Hader. So I love that. And you know what? You guys want to try to code the characters of Encanto? That son, like, during the entire time me and Max were watching the movie, I was like, that son is very easily autistic coded, right? And it was like, yeah, because and that's in a great way, because he's an enjoyable, hyper fixated young lad. He does the little stimmy things with his hands, which is I've not actually seen a lot of media characters, let alone animated media characters.
He bites his shirt too, the collar of his shirt when he gets stressed.
Yeah, and he does like little things with his. I have not seen stims actually like acknowledged or animated, so I find that really cool, and it's a cute little detail, and I love him. He is and
it's always fun to see. And it's always fun to see autistic kids jumping out of windows when they talk to their love interest.
Yes.
Wait.
I mean, yes. Who doesn't? But okay, so. You came in at the right time because we were done talking, and I think we're putting it in. That says something that in 2021, the two masterpieces so far are animated films. I'm fine with this. There will be a live-action film in here, I swear.
I mean, with you two on the helm, and me already expressing my lack of enthusiasm. I dare to say there will not a single real live-action movie end up in there.
You were the one who said that this stream idea was a good idea, so I don't know why you were lacking enthusiasm.
Oh, hold up! Is that
in picking a masterpiece film? Okay, yes. Your phrasing was piss poor, my dear. But yes, okay. I don't have a lot to say about this movie. I'll be real. I don't think I can actually bullshit a thing for this movie. I didn't see it. So
I still can't see it.
It's House of Gucci.
It is Gucci. Okay, it is Gucci, yeah.
So
the
right
title
here.
is not really visible from the distance. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's completely on screen. It's just like, what's going on in there?
I can at least speak on this one because I'm not bullshitting. I saw it. So
go ahead, Lauren. You have the floor.
So, it's an interesting film for sure. Definitely, it was something that another 2 hour, 30-minute movie that didn't need to be 2 hour and 30-minute movie. But I mean, for what it has in it, I mean, there's definitely some intriguing stuff that happens, and especially if you know the story about the Gucci family. It doesn't end well. So it's all basically a matter of like building
of life.
It's like yeah, spoiler from like frickin', almost 30 years ago. But it basically is all just building up from the point that basically Maurizio Gucci and what's it's not
Gucci anymore. It's Dunk.
I wish.
I love the part when Adam Driver starts dancing with a giant donut.
But I was gonna say, so it's the moment when Maurizio and Patrizia meet up until basically the very end of it's when all these events come over time, and there is quite a bit that happens, and then quite a lot that doesn't happen. Period of time. That doesn't make it a bad film, but at the same time, it being really long, I feel like it was unnecessary. But for what it does provide is that Lady Gaga is fantastic in it. I'm not doubting that for a second. But then again, it's not the first time we've seen Lady Gaga act well. So, and Adam Driver, he was good. I mean, I feel like he's always pretty good. But I mean,
love Adam Driver.
Yeah. The one I'm like, look, the makeup was good that it hid him well enough, except if you look at his eyes going, yeah, you can see that's 100% Jared. Jared...
He got off of his cult sex island to do this movie.
To do this. And if anybody's going to be making fun, like, that's why I don't making fun of Lady Gaga's accent in this, because, my God, Jared Leto being the cousin, and him literally sounding like I make it a pizza. I just...
Mamma mia, it's crime time. Which is actually fitting for this movie.
And I feel bad because the whole premise is that this is like an extremely wealthy family, well-off family that has an empire, right? And it's everybody screwing everybody over for the empire. And apparently, because this is all from Patrizia's point of view, a lot of inaccuracies came about that even the members of the Gucci family that still stand are like offspring, going like, that's incorrect. That is not correct. Especially when I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it here because it's a historical thing, because this is a sort of biographical film. Maurizio is murdered. He was killed by a hitman that Patrizia got to get him.
What a happy family.
So, what a big happy family we got here. And basically she got put away for that because she and the hitman and the basically reportedly, I guess it was like a fortune teller who became her friend, who was like basically feeding her because
that's the person you want.
Her superstitions and her craziness all teamed up to make this happen, and they all got their dues in the end. But it was yeah, it's a long film, and for the good parts about it is like, otherwise, the casting was good. I mean, I'm Jared Leto, whatever.
So would you say this is a great movie despite its long runtime? An airplane movie?
I'd say it's an airplane movie because it's like, it's not. I can't even say it's like, oh, nice. It's like it's serviceable, but it's not something I would go back and watch again.
With how long
especially when it's not exactly movie? The lightest subject, and everybody throughout the whole thing has and either starts out or ends up being an asshole. It's like, and so nobody is redeemed thing, and you just feel the only one you feel remotely bad for is still not entirely a good guy, but you at least get where he's coming from, and it's like the uncle in the family. That's about it. Everybody else is like, nah, they end up being screwy and messed up. So
you have a point, Max?
Yeah, yes. With hearing Lauren saying all that, the only thing that I can comment on it is like, Jesus, Irish people are really, really messed up. Just thinking back to Emerald, who basically sold us this movie as a comedy. But then he also pointed out how Irish people in general laugh about a lot of horrible stuff in cinema. So I kind of expected it to be a comedy at this point until what you just described.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's why it's like it's not meant to be fun. It's and especially what it builds up to is not. So
yeah, Emerald had a very different impression, and he sold it accordingly differently. He thought it was funny.
I guess it depends. Maybe if you look at like Jared Leto and his accent, maybe. But
no.
I make it a pizza. No, it's like it's literally like no, it's just everybody being an asshole and not in a fun way. So
I'll keep it in mind for my next international flight.
There's no coke snorting like Wolf of Wall Street to make it entertaining.
There's none of that in there.
Man, with airplane movie, with Dune and House of Gucci, man, you better be taking an international flight. But okay.
I will also say though that Jeremy Irons totally didn't realize he was in it until I watched the movie. Because he plays Maurizio's father, Adam Driver's father. And
yes.
It is funny though that when he gets angry, he loses the Italian.
Of course.
So you just start hearing more of that British accent coming through.
Okay, so I moved a movie between each other because you know what, me and Lauren have been chatterboxes. We've been rude and neglecting the opinions of our favorite blue-haired boy over here. So I decided to put a movie to be judged that I know Max can have his long-awaited gush fest about. And that movie obviously is The Eternals.
Yay! Eternals! Yeah!
Max, go ahead, you have the floor.
Yes! I gladly so. So, as people potentially are aware of, I am an MCU enthusiast, and I have watched every MCU movie to date. Which wasn't always so. During phase 1 I skipped and missed a lot of them, and then I needed to binge watch MCU movies to catch up, but eventually I got my shit together and caught them all in cinema, so the Eternals as well. It's, for those who are not aware, it's a group of eternal beings, hence the name, who have been shitting out on Earth the entire time throughout all the events that happened so far in the MCU, and kept to themselves because they have been on the planet since the first humans were around and fighting a bunch of monsters, and those monsters were their exclusive to-do. So they kept out of everything else, and it's a movie with a big ensemble cast, and it's kind of garbo.
Not Crimes Against Humanity, just garbo.
No, it's not Crimes Against Humanity. It's just like a disappointment. It's like I mean, since this is not the only MCU movie on this list. It's like,
it's
I
one
can...
of 3.
Apparently it is, and guess who watched all of them, as I just already said. Also, I guess we are skipping... How far are we into the list? I have the feeling we should skip the bullshitting part and just admit if we haven't seen anything, because...
Oh, yeah, we are like halfway through the list.
Okay,
we're at number 10 right now, so...
Bad as I thought. Okay.
I didn't want to say anything. I was waiting for you guys because, well, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, Eternals, it's kind of garbo. I mean, among the MCU movies, it might be one of the weaker ones to date. And it's like, first they have to spend a lot of time justifying what's even the deal with the Eternals. And... because they have been there from the beginning of time, so they kind of need to establish who they are. I believe they do a jumping back and forth thing with like showing the origin and intertwining it with current events, for probably because neither of those parts was interesting enough to follow in one sitting. And yeah, that's the other movie with a big ensemble cast, which I mentioned during Encanto, where it's like, now you have those very lively, unique, standing out characters in Encanto, and in Eternals, they are a lot more bland. They basically, they don't really... once again, I could probably try to put them all together and be like, aha, this character, but at the end of the day, they're all punchy. They're all punchy warrior types. They have a different type of punchy.
I remember, I actually have that left an impression on me was the Bollywood actor.
He's the only fun character.
Yeah, he's the only good one, and that's no surprise because the actor's really funny. Everyone else was just. I feel they just. You ever look at a film and just feel like the actors didn't have fun? That's how Eternals felt.
Yeah, Eternals could be a DCEU movie. This far we're going. It's just like
no Justice League era movie because the DC have been cleaning themselves up.
It's true. It's a fair point. It's a fair point. They actually turned fun, but yeah, Eternals. It's like it should add so much more to the MCU impact-wise by given what kind of entity we are talking here. Like, a group of eternal beings who has been guiding humanity since the beginning, and yet they because they have this secrecy mission or whatever, they basically don't do shit. They hardly acknowledge the existence of other MCU characters.
You know the joke people made with Captain America at the end of Endgame in that he had to experience all the world's tragedies and he didn't help, even though he knew these tragedies existed? That's this movie, in that they just don't do shit. Except it's not like the joke where Cap feels at least bad. Like...
and I mean, I'm not sure if No Way Home is canonically supposed to happen after Eternals, but I would not even be surprised if it is, because there are happening literal cosmic events in Eternals, and yet they seem to leave no impression. It's fascinating. It's like on the same wavelength of this group of guardians of humanity who left absolutely no impression on humanity. It's kind of like the movie. It's kind of very meta what's happening there.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about the movie because I do want us to move a little bit faster, but I'm actually reorganizing some of the movies to the ones that I know only one of us saw, so that way it can be faster.
Because I full confession, never saw Eternals and never had interest in it. So.
Oh, you know what? You didn't miss much.
It seemed like it never grabbed me, so I'm like, pass.
But the thing is, just I just felt sad because I love the director. Because the director is the person who made Nomadland. She directed, written, and edited that movie all herself. She was an Oscar darling. I know we say fuck the Oscars and fuck awards, but she actually deserved all of those. But the thing is, she was hired to do a Marvel movie where she was told to do these Marvel checklists of these things always have to happen in a Marvel movie. And that's just not her style of making a movie. And I just feel like, why did you hire a director who does unequivocally the opposite of what you do? Because her stuff is very, minimal budget, very, down to earth, smaller scale things. And I would welcome a smaller scaled MCU movie. That's why I like Spider-Man when he's just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, when it's just isolated. But that's the problem with the MCU. The MCU is too big for its own good. And it just made me sad because I know that a lot of people are going to shit on the director. And it's like, I don't know how much blame you can give to someone when they're being told to do something that's not in their repertoire. I mean, it's to the point because, a big thing about Eternals was that the actor who played Kingo, he got really buff for the movie, got the Marvel body. She didn't want him to, but because of the standards, he did it, because that's how the superheroes look. And that's a whole other discussion of how I get annoyed. I'm tired of these unattainable Marvel superhero bodies. Why are you playing Oxygen Not Included while we're doing this?
I need something to fiddle with my fingers.
Okay, you need a fidget cube, man. But yeah, this movie's just a disappointment, so I'm more than happy to put it in Garbo. Okay, so one that I know that we could probably be quick on is Tick Tick Boom, because I think I'm the only one who watched it.
Yeah, despite your recommendations, I haven't come around to it yet.
I've yet to see it. I've been wanting to set time aside to see it.
Okay, I will be quick with it. I promise I'll be quick. I know that's something I promise and I don't do, but I'll promise with this one.
Great. I just got a fidget spinner handed.
Thank you. Okay, so Tick Tick Boom is really fucking good. It is Lynn's directorial debut, and I think this is a fantastic first impression. For people who don't know, Tick Tick Boom is a production that was originally made by Jonathan Larson, who, if you don't know the name, they made Rent, and also, well, Tick Tick Boom, the stage show. And Tick Tick Boom is basically an autobiography type movie. I mean, the main character's name is John. And it's about, like, this guy who wants to, break into Broadway and playwriting, not making a lot of money, and he's super hell-bent set on this workshop performance. And like, the movie goes through and him writing the songs and the troubles and turbulations of his life. And it's kind of a tragic tale, because if you know the ending of Jonathan Larson's story is that he actually died the day that Rent's off-Broadway premiere happened because of an aneurysm. Because of some... Yeah. Jonathan never got to see how much of an impression he would leave on the world of theater, because Rent is one of the biggest shows of all time. And if you watch Tick Tick Boom and you watch Rent and how they style their music, you can see a lot of modern theater is based off of that sound. But yeah, so that's the basic synopsis. It is such a well done movie. Andrew Garfield is... I really... Again, fuck award shows and everything. But if he were to get nominated and win something, I think his portrayal of John is deserving of it. Because he not only just is a great actor, I don't think it's a surprising thing to say Andrew Garfield's a great actor. He perfectly mimics, like, John's mannerisms and everything, and how he, like, just expresses himself, how he talks, how he moves. It's a fantastic performance. Also, his singing voice is amazing. This man needs to be stopped, because he can act, sing, he was Spider-Man.
It's like, actually, no. Let him keep going. I want to see how much more he can do.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't get enough Andrew Garfield. I'm glad we're getting a little more of him now.
I know. I love him. Hot take. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is my favorite live-action Spider-Man. Don't at me.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. I just love it. And the music is fantastic. Everyone should listen to the song 3090, which is the opening song to the soundtrack. It is so good. I think I've listened to that song every morning to get myself started, even though the whole song's subject is hating the fact that you're turning 30 in 1990. But I don't think it matters your age. With how the world is, any birthday will feel like 3090. And just getting older and everything. And that's the big thing, is just that feeling like you're running out of time. Which, okay, Lynn, you have a pattern of what you like. But I think this goes into... I think this can go into great stuff.
If you're running out of
time. I think this goes into great stuff. I think it's a wonderful semi-biography movie, because there's liberties taken, obviously. There were liberties taken in Tick Tick Boom itself when Jonathan made it. But I fully recommend it. I mean, I just think, like, a biography musical movie is a hard thing to sell, and a type of musical like this, because all the songs are diegetic. The song, like the therapy sequence. I've never had straight up no data. I've always had, like...
me.
Like, right at the moment, it's like, I'm gonna be quick, and then
I'm sorry.
Okay,
there we go, we're back. Everything is my fault. Okay, so that was a great thing for them to come back on.
Are we live?
Anyways, okay, we're okay. Red Notice. Only Lauren watched it. Give us the skinny.
Okay, so Ryan Reynolds is a thief. He has a red notice on his file, making him one of Interpol's most wanted people in the world. And so then you have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is an Interpol agent who gets framed because of the meddlings of another Red Notice thief who is played by Gal Gadot. I could sell this as, imagine if Lupin and Zenigata teamed up against Fujiko. That's basically what this is. So
that sounds like
the Interpol agent's trying to clear his name. The Interpol agent's trying to clear his name, and he has to team up with Ryan Reynolds in order to clear his name, and to basically as they're trying to find these eggs that are hidden around the world, like they're the treasure that is hidden all over the world to something. So I can't give a much more away than that, because actually this one has twists in it I wasn't expecting. I mean, I should have, but it does. And actually very much leaves off at implying that there could be more of Red Notice kind of movies, which I would love to see,
with the sequel Blue Memo and
and yeah, it's
Green Warning.
Is it a perfect film? No, but is it fun? Absolutely. It's kind of like a bit of the corny humor, kind of a corny flick, and just full of fun and action and lots of humor, lots of great jokes in it. Ryan Reynolds steals the show every time he's on screen. But what's cool is seeing all these actors interact well with each other, and even Gal Gadot getting to have her comedic moments, or at least having her, be the one that one-ups them every time, and then they have to basically try to be 5 steps ahead of her. So it's a bunch of cat and mouse, all in the sake of trying to pursue a treasure. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I would put it personally in because I think it's not something that is necessary viewing, but I would still say it's so much fun. I would put it in the nice category, because I personally had a lot of fun with it. Do I see it as a necessary viewing? No, but is it a feel-good fun flick? Definitely. And if you are a fan of Lupin stuff, if you like the thief and cop cat and mouse chase with comedic stuff in it, you're gonna love Red Notice. Oh. So
it's a Ryan Reynolds sandwich.
Yeah. The best kind of sandwich.
Ryan Reynolds is a nice actor. Also, yeah, if apparently the last thing they heard was diegetic soundtrack, in Tick Tick Boom, the way that they put the song numbers is that all of them take place exclusively during the workshop performances. They're not non-diegetic musical numbers. That was the thing that if it was missed, that's what it was missed. Also, if there's a little lag, sometimes the fucking YouTube stream help thing just says no data. I think that's a YouTube server error. That is not my internet. So
yeah,
deal with it.
And yes, there's definitely for people in the chat, there's definitely a lot of nods to Lupin, and I know in Red Notice, but I know I've noticed, and I've called it out before, as I said, somebody at Netflix is calling these shots, saying we need more Lupin this. Hey, sliding notes across the executives table, like, hey, so you know how we have like Cagliostro on here? Maybe we should slip in a little more thief stuff. We should have a movie. Maybe we could have Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds, as a thief and a cop,
I
just suggesting things.
I can't think of Dwayne and Ryan without thinking of Hobbs and Shaw, though. So, in my heart of hearts, this is part of Hobbs and Shaw. But okay, another movie that only one of us have seen, The Tomorrow War, which is from Max's list.
Oh boy. I have only
is
the
this going to go in Garbo, or is this going to go in Crimes?
No, it's not a crime. I mean, you could argue that creating a bad movie with Chris Pratt in it is a crime against humanity, but then again, he's starring in so much stuff coming out that eventually he has to be in bad movies, so that alone cannot be a determining factor.
I can't wait when Chris Pratt plays Jesus Christ in Passion of the Christ 2 Electric Boogaloo. Instead of Mel Gibson. But okay, but yes, your opinions on The Tomorrow.
It's a sequel.
Yeah, give us the skinny.
Big concept, like some Shyamalanian stuff. Did Shyamalan do this? I would not be surprised. But it feels too sci-fi for Shyamalan.
I mean, After Earth was Shyamalan.
Really? Huh.
Yes.
But yeah, it has like it has all the elements that I should like. It is like it has time travel shenanigans that in the end, even though during half the runtime I was like, oh, that's stupid. Why don't they do that? This time travel doesn't make sense. But at the end, it actually came around, and I was like, holy shit! The time travel they came up with for this movie is actually cohesive and makes sense after all. So credit where credit is due.
What a weird filmography this person has that directed, because the person who directed the movie is Chris McKay, who is the director of the Lego Batman movie and the first 3 seasons of Robot Chicken.
Oh my god.
How do you go from that to here?
There have been live decisions that happened.
Yeah. Anyways, continue. Sorry, that just felt like a weird enough thing to bring up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. No, but where were we?
You were about to give the synopsis.
All the good stuff, like sci-fi, time travel, which I like, especially if it turns out to be cohesive and not all over the place. Chris Pratt, which. So far, I do still like. Don't screw it up, Chrissy boy. What? It has like sci-fi action. I'm also on board with, and yet they still manage to make it. I don't know. Not boring, but underwhelming. Very underwhelming. It's like I'm pretty sure Chris Pratt can play serious, right? He has had serious roles, right? Please tell me he had serious roles.
I mean, like, we've seen semi-serious with certain parts of Star-Lord's performance, but I think, like, the closest thing he's done to a dramatic role is that he's going to be in, like... I think his dramatic roles aren't out yet, kind of thing.
I mean, his first one was out and it wasn't great, so... Awkward.
Yeah, but you know, people grow. I mean, Will Smith has done dramatic roles that weren't great, and he started in comedy.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a thing that, yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how Chris handles serious roles going forward.
So would you say this movie was just boring, or was it, like, illogical? Like, what puts it... Because it seems like you don't have a high... it was like a disappointment.
Yeah, it was pretty underwhelming. It seemed more, is it Garbo or is it Airplane? I might still have gotten more out of it than the Eternals, so that would allow it Airplane.
Do you think okay, do you think there are stuff in it that could appeal to other people? Like, is there enough redeeming qualities where...
Yeah, it's competently made. It's like very, very popcorn, which you can watch it. You can have a worse time. It's like it's not a feel good movie because the overall story. I mean, I believe towards the end it managed to have a little bit the hell yeah kind of moment. So yeah. Give it Airplane movie. I mean, if you're on a long flight.
I don't like William Crow saying I've seen the trailer and it sounds like a metaphor for Vietnam. I don't like the concept of sci-fi Vietnam. Like, there feels something wrong
sacrificing an entire generation for the future. Those are Vietnam-esque slogans, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, you can also say that about the World Wars or any war.
That's you can say that about any of them.
But but Vietnam, it was at least the useless one. But yeah, point being, there we go. So I can now say that I think there's one more movie. There's one more movie on here that is exclusively only one person has seen, and that is Lauren with the Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh,
I'm feeling so sorry for you.
What do you mean, sorry?
The thing is, I was going to watch it, but hearing Chris rant about it, I was just like, this is not on my priority list anymore. So please give us your thoughts.
It's funny because I tend to be often in the same ballpark as Chris with a lot of things, but this is coming from somebody who does not have a long history with Mortal Kombat. I don't have a loyalty to it. I kind of looked at this as something where I'm like, I'll look at it as a standalone film. I don't have to get caught up in the lore, in the history of the games. I'm just here to watch people punch each other. And also one of the pleasant surprises was that that Raiden is played by the same actor. What's his name? He played Inspector Zenigata in the 2014 live-action Lupin movie, and that was a surprise.
The one that goes, ah!
Yes, I'll move on, all right, when Lupin the Third is behind bars. Ah! But his English has gotten better since then. So he was good in here, and he actually was really good.
I did look up the cast and stuff, and I know some of them from some Korean action shows that I've seen on Netflix. They did get some people that are actually like known for like martial arts or international films, which I always love to see. But yeah, so what's the skinny, what's the story, Morning Glory? Give us your quick thoughts.
My quick thoughts are, as long as you don't have a combat and like my lore, my this and that, and I'm not putting down anybody that is saying that. I'm just saying this as somebody who's a casual person who's like, hey, once in a while I like a movie where people just beat the hell out of each other. and I'm like, you know what? It's not a perfect film. It's literally just, I like it's a beat 'em up, and it's a fun beat 'em up to watch. Just like, don't like have to think too hard about it. Just a fun beat 'em up. And so I would say it's an airplane movie, long and short of it. I can't say it's Garbo. I had too much fun watching a lot of the sequences to be like, even if I want something that's ridiculous, going like, well, it's freaking Mortal Kombat. I'm like, I can't say anything's too ridiculous. In the game, you got them ripping each other's spines out. Like, I don't.
You know, I have the next movie, which I know that me and you have seen, Lauren, actually fits in that thoughts on Mortal Kombat is my thoughts on this one, which is Godzilla vs. Kong, another HBO Max movie. Which look, I just want to see monsters beat each other up. I don't have high. If you're watching Godzilla and your expectations are that of, I don't know, fucking Tick Tick Boom or something. Like, if you're expecting some kind of narrative masterpiece, why the fuck are you watching a Godzilla movie? Like,
You don't watch Godzilla for the plot. That's just it. You don't watch it for the plot.
You watch it for humans being scared and monsters going bam bam. And then seeing people argue who's going to win, nuclear lizard or funny monkey. Like, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I had more fun watching this than the previous Godzilla King of Monsters, I think the previous movie was called. Here's the thing. I know Godzilla movies are not people's cups of teas. Like, I would say watch a Godzilla movie with the same lens that you watch like a Transformers film, like one of the first few Bayformers, in that you're going in to watch things blow up and having fun. And if that's not what you are going into your movie theater to see, you're not going to have a good time. But with all that in mind, it was a very well done popcorn movie. So I would say I think it's as nice as Free Guy, personally. But I can also see it being an airplane movie. I don't know what your thoughts on it are, though, Laura.
I enjoyed it way too much to put it at airplane. I would say I would put it at nice, at the very least, because it is a frickin' fun popcorn film, at the very least. And also, actually kind of funny that right after we've talked about Mortal Kombat that had a Lupin actor in it, is that Lupin himself is in there. He's as the Mecha Godzilla he's the guy that controls it or ends up, getting his brain zapped in it. But he's in there too. But it's a freaking fun movie, and also just to see the dynamics between Kong and Godzilla. I love the way they handled them. and seeing them team up at the end against Mecha is just a lot of fun.
My favorite part is after they team up against Mecha, they look deeply into each other's eyes and had a very passionate makeout session on top of the Empire State Building. The great, you know.
The one point I can agree with in this movie, and
yes.
I haven't even seen it.
I think
I say at the very. I say it's worth a watch if you want to see as if you're the average Godzilla or kaiju enjoyer, you're gonna like this one. I like it even more, and actually, I had a lot more fun with it than I still actually have yet to watch King of Monsters and I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I really want to devote time to sit down and watch it because I've heard nothing but great stuff about that. But yeah, this one, I say, put it in nice.
If you want kaiju and mecha with plot, watch Pacific Rim. If you want just fun, Godzilla vs. Kong. But there you go. So I think the next one... Actually, no. There's another movie that I think only one of us has seen. And this is a Max film.
Ooh, me.
Black Widow.
Oh yeah, another MCU movie. Can't miss any of them.
I forgot Black Widow was in theaters.
Was it in theaters? I believe
it. What
I watched it. I know I watched it.
No, okay. I think it did subsequent theater. It was in theaters, and it was also Disney Plus Premium, where you have to pay money.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, this was the thing which actually
one of two Disney Plus Premium movies that are on this list.
Yeah, and I believe this was the one that created, at the very least, the rumor that Scarlett Johansson had a falling out with Disney over it because her contract kind of gave her only cinema money, and by putting it as paid watch on streaming, she didn't get her share on that.
And also her paycheck was already lower because there's been a very highly reported thing that female actors in the MCU get paid less than their male co-stars, which is fucking bullshit. But yes.
I mean, there are less of them. They should even get more, no?
I know. But point being, give us the skinny and your thoughts.
The skinny and the thoughts. What is the skinny? A recap?
Yeah, you know, basic... Like, where does it fit in the MCU? Because this is such a weird movie that they give Black Widow their film post Endgame.
Exactly, because for everybody who watched Infinity Wars on Endgame, you might remember that Black Widow has a certain critical character development that keeps her from appearing in too many other movies, multiverse aside, or what if. Yeah, and no, this is taking place before she goes kaput. Even before, yes, it's before Infinity Wars. Even it's a thing that at the end of Black Widow, she basically gets the jet in which we then see Cap and her and Falcon enter Infinity War. So this is where it fits into the timeline. And what is happening and why? That is always a good sign if I don't really know what the inciting incident is. Basically, her taking care of her past. Ironically, since it's a prequel, kind of. Or not, it's not a prequel. It's a out of order main storyline thing, which also has zero impact on the main storyline because, you know, it happens right before
your enthusiasm talking about it says wonders about where
here's the fun thing. I had a decent time with it. Definitely better than Eternals. I wouldn't put it into Garbo to put this right up front. I mean, what I'm mostly complaining about is its position in the timeline. Like, as you pointed out, the stakes were so drastically low because you knew nothing in this movie could really happen, which can have a big impact on her character in Infinity Wars and Endgame. I mean, I was a little bit of a dick at the end of when this movie came out, because I was like, hey, this movie, due to its nature and the timeline, kind of diminishes her character in Endgame. I have to backtrack this a little bit with time and certain other shows coming out. I dare to say that it's okay. It's okay.
Like an airplane movie, okay?
Oh, no, I mean the specific aspect. So yeah, what do I think about the movie? Airplane or nice? Upper Airplane, I would say. I don't. It's good. I watched it. I probably would watch it again. Which I'm not sure if I can say this about all the Airplane movies, because I wouldn't watch the Tomorrow War again necessarily.
But in general, so
as I said, Upper Airplane. Upper Airplane. You miss disturbingly little by skipping it, which is sad.
We are at the final 10 movies. Let's do this.
Oh wow!
Lightning run. Let's go.
Okay, I know one that I have very little to say, but a very low opinion.
Oh my.
The Tom and Jerry movie. What a fucking... Okay, I think we have our first crimes. This movie made me mad.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that Max didn't watch this one. This was a me and Lauren movie. Let me tell you, Max, you didn't miss shit. Holy crap.
And I feel bad because, like, the animation, like, I give them props for the animation part, but, man, everything else about it just... No, it's like, you could have...
I can't believe I'm gonna...
Every time they try to adapt Tom and Jerry to a feature film, it's almost like they at least... I can at least say this was better than the Tom and Jerry movie we got in the 90s or whatever, but I can't... But that's not saying much.
I'd actually watch the 90s movie over this one.
I would watch the 90s one again if only for weirdness of it. And
that's the thing, though. This thing
you watch it for the cringe
weird.
factor. This one doesn't even have a fun cringe factor to it. So
yeah, I'm with Enigma in the chat. This is not a Tom and Jerry movie. I am so Don't adapt silent characters if you're going to make a movie where it's mostly just everyone acting around the characters. I fucking... Because that's the thing. Tom and Jerry are sidelined in their own movie. Because I feel like there was more screen time with the dumb live action people than actual Tom and Jerry. There was no reason for Tom and Jerry to even be in a live action world in this movie. Like and this is, and I'm not saying they need to take a portal to real life New York City like the fucking Smurfs, but I'm just saying, like, there's no other animated characters except for I think the dog, and like it doesn't just have an inexplicable, like, Roger Rabbit-y or even BoJack Horseman explanation where it's just these things just exist, because there's nothing else in their world outside of them, and it's stupid. And I just... It
is pretty funny, though. I will admit that in this world of, like, live action humor, every single animal. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I just... My thing is just... Studios are scared of being ambitious, and I think that's the most lukewarm statement of the year, but it's just like, are they just, if you're scared of making a movie with silent protagonists to the point that you're going to make the silent protagonists the basically supporting cast, why make a movie with them? Just... You know, people have made silent movies before that are just slapstick and telling things through body language, and they work. That's what films were for, like, 50 years. So, I don't know why you're so scared. Fucking The Artist only came out in 2010, and that was...
I was about to bring up The Artist. I love The Artist. I'm like, see, it can be done.
I'm not... Here's the thing. I barely remember the plot because I was just annoyed watching the movie. I'd rather watch the live-action Smurfs, because at least that was stupid. This movie was just off. Sorry.
So thank you. Next.
Yes, I fucking hate this movie. I'm so sorry, Tom and Jerry. I love you in general.
And especially when they deserve better.
They do.
They always deserve better, and they never do.
They walk so many things can run. Oh yeah, and Bumblebee was a mostly silent protagonist. And Bumblebee's amazing. Okay, Okay, anyways, let's go to a happier note. This one we've all seen. Vivo. Very cute.
There we go.
Oh.
Very cute, very colorful, great music, and
I think
another
it's definitely
heartfelt. It has
nice.
some heartfelt moments in it too, as well. So,
yeah, like I think 2021 achieved the thing of making kid characters really likable. Because so many of these films have characters that it's very easy to make obnoxious kid characters, but like all of them are really likable. And so, good job, 2021. That was your consistent thing. Because the fucking girl in this movie could have been obnoxious the whole way through. But she was a funny you felt about her the same way Vivo did in the development of like, oh, okay, I like you. But I do love this movie. And Lynn is a great voice actor. So, I think it's nice. What about you, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. A nice movie, family movie, nice music. I have to say that it didn't leave too much of a impression with me personally. I would put it above Airplane, so probably into the nice category.
I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah. Because yeah, it's not something just to watch on an airplane, but also nothing where I'm like, oh, that's a must see. Like, no, somebody asked me, would I recommend it? Yeah, sure.
Give it's at least deserving to watch it on a nice TV because it is a very pretty movie. And like the end made me choke up with the 2D segment with the song and like don't do that. They saved all their heartbreaking things for the end. Jesus Christ. So yeah, but there we go. Here's one that I think only 2 of us have seen. Shang-Chi and the 7 Rings.
I've yet to watch it. I know. I'm a naughty, but I've been meaning to watch it.
We'll try to not be spoilery, but I really liked it. I think it's my second favorite Marvel movie that came out this year.
Oh, this year, okay. Oh, there are 4 even, aren't there?
Yeah, I only realized later on that there were 4. Well, to be fair, I think Shang-Chi and Black Widow were supposed to come out in 2020. So... but you know, the world exploded. But yeah, I really liked it. It is something that I was looking for in a Marvel movie because for the most part, with the exception of like to know that when this movie takes place, which is actually a really confusing thing as we discovered when we were talking about it on the podcast, and post-credit, it's very self-contained in being Shang-Chi and like I think like the only other character that's from another Marvel property is Wong from Doctor Strange. I think he appears, which you know, I will never say no to Wong. I love him, but like but yeah,
Wong has a strong dedicated fan base. It's true.
It is, but like I really do enjoy Shang-Chi. I like having just this kind of mostly self-contained story. God, that's refreshing in this franchise. And I really like Shang-Chi as a character. I think he's very likable, very cool, great first impression. And yeah, I don't think it's groundbreaking, personally. I mean, it's one of the best choreographed movies of like that I've seen in a long time. Which is no surprise. The martial arts in this movie is amazing. And it better be amazing given the subject matter of the movie. So it's definitely a very eye-catching movie. It's a great popcorn flick. And I think it's self-contained enough that I can give it the thing of you don't have to do all your Marvel homework to watch it and still enjoy it. So I think it can go up to great stuff. I think it's one of the most solid Marvel movies in this new phase, which that's a sad thing to say. But like
that is.
But I think it's it's pretty damn neat. But what do you think, Max?
Yeah. I guess once again, I really need to go. Then again, if I go first, I ramble forever. I don't know. But yeah, we had the situation where I would agree with what you sad, no? What do you call it? The short and the nitty and no.
The nitty gritty.
The skinny.
The skinny, you know. You already did a good skinny dip, so
I always do a good skinny dip.
Hey yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. It's was a fun watch. It was I mean, I guess the only thing that can be said against it and not even that, because here's the thing, I was about to say that it forces you to watch Iron Man 3, but which is probably the more or less only really strongly referenced one.
Even then.
Yeah, and I personally always I had a soft spot for Iron Man 3. 2 I actually tried because that's, I believe, the most hated Iron Man. I tried to rewatch and I actually couldn't. I got bored in between and I realized, oh shit, maybe it's really not
for a
great.
long time the MCU just failed with 2s, because you have that in Thor: Dark World.
True, it's true.
And people don't have a high opinion of Ultron either, so.
Either way, where was I? Yes,
you were saying that you liked it.
Exactly, I did like it, and yeah, comparing it with the other MCU movies on the list, yeah, for the martial arts alone, it's a good eye candy. Would I put it above Nice? Yes, I guess I would. Like looking what I so far recommended for Nice, I mean, Nice Guy was the only one in Nice that I actually rated higher. Would have put higher, but compared with all the other movies in Nice that I watched, I would say, yeah, Shang-Chi is probably better than that. So, you know, like Nice Guy.
Hell, you mean Free Guy?
Leave it there.
Free Guy.
Oh shit.
Go,
he is a very nice guy.
He is, but that's the point being. That was a great moment to catch on camera. Okay, so I think it's been due time to pick another to put a film out here that I think we can all agree can go into the masterpiece category.
Oh boy.
The Suicide Squad, baby!
I mean, on my personal list, it was the only remaining top candidate to go to the top of the list. So.
I mean, I'm in full agree. I haven't had this much fun at a comic book movie in a long time. Like,
I think especially for, like, I mean, I had fun with Birds of Prey, but I've heard you gush nothing but good things about this Suicide Squad, which I feel like that's what they needed after the disaster of the other one. So
the Leto one, yeah. But I mean, you can't fail with James Gunn.
I was about to say. They let James Gunn go even more loose than with Guardians, which I'm very happy about, because
when you let James Gunn be James Gunn, you're gonna get a Gunner movie.
And I mean, he had some nasty R-rated stuff in the past, so it's nice that he can go back to the roots.
It's a beautiful movie. Like, it's such a colorful movie. I mean, if the poster is anything to go by, like, it's just pure pop, and I love it so much. And it says something that, because you could call this an ensemble movie, even though they shrink the ensemble in the first 15 minutes. But it says something that each character, for as little as they're on screen, leaves an impression. Like, that's how you know a character is like Encanto. That shows how well written they are. And I mean, like, the only character in that movie that I think I don't know my opinion of, simply because how little it was on screen, was Pete Davidson's character. But if you've watched the movie, you know why I think Pete Davidson's character had too little time for me to gather an opinion. But I just had so much fun with this movie, and I can't wait for what the next installment in the Peacemaker HBO Max show.
So I assume you put that in the masterpiece category, and...
Yes.
Unironically?
Yes, unironically. I loved it.
I mean, it was kind of probably not 100% revolutionary in what it did to R-rated comic book movies since they are the ones from the 80s and 90s. Plus, of course, Deadpool already paved
I like this more
carved the
than
way
Deadpool.
a little bit.
I said I liked it more than I liked it more than Deadpool.
Yeah, I would say it is more of a cohesive movie, which is fun while still taking itself seriously.
Exactly. Like, I think it's just, if this is the direction that, with this and Shazam, if this is the direction they're going to be going with how these movies are made, and the fact that they're giving James Gunn so much with, like, the Peacemaker show, and apparently there's going to be another show based off Suicide Squad, I am so for it. I am not going to fight with anyone. I told you there would be a live action film in Masterpieces. You didn't believe me. But yeah.
Apparently it's true, yeah.
I'm fully down. Okay, so to bring the mood not down, but to take a horse-sized muscle relaxant. Fucking Raya and the Last Dragon. I don't hate it. I'm just disappointed.
I think the nicest thing I can do is to just because I don't want to discredit the work that got put into it, but at the same time, it left very little impression on me. The nicest thing I can do is give it airplane movie status, because again, it has, like, it's something where the scale of everything is so big. It's too much to put into one movie. And I know that we're in the era of parts 1 and 2 and all. What I say is it better suits to be a series than it does. Yeah. It better suits to be a series with how much of the world is there and how little they touch upon it. It's like, oh, here we are. Up, leapfrog to the next one. Up, leapfrog to the next one. When there's clearly all of these kingdoms that I'm like, man, each one feels different. Like, there's a different culture to each one, which is in a different vibe, and everyone's, dressed different. The cuisine is different. That's another thing. It's like the food being a unifier in this, which I mean, no doubt the food looks really good in this. But I feel like, if they had handled it as a series versus a singular film, it would have done better, because they would have given the time allotted. There's also, yes, the issue of where they lump together all of the cultures, the Southeast Asian cultures into one thing, or they lumped them together into certain ones, going like, I know what you're trying to do is to consolidate them to make it easier for storytelling purposes, but that's not doing a service to the I guess you could say that to the mythology and to the cultures in real life, when you're trying to do that. That's why, again, if they had handled that a little differently, and if they'd spaced things out into a series versus a singular film, it would have fared better. But for what we got,
I mean, there is redeeming qualities. I like Sizu. I do like the dragon character. I like her relationship with Raya. There is some good things. But the thing is, there's just so much happening that it's the same. It's my problem with Eternals. I think, like, these things could benefit from just being a show. It would be like making WandaVision into a movie. That would be stupid. And,
exactly.
You shouldn't do stupid things. But I feel like it would have benefited if you have so many ideas, just, make it a series. Because, or just make the stuff first impressions or anything like that. You could have shrunk these nations down to, like, 3. And it felt like this needed to be tightened. And I don't hate it. It just disappoints me to see so many highbrow concepts just not used or only being touched upon. And it's like they ended the movie with such a clean bow that there's not really the idea of a sequel, which I'm like, you know what, if any of these movies need sequels, Raya could do that. I would even be fine if they made a Raya show, like, after the fact, just so we can explore shit. But I would want a show because I liked it enough that I wanted to see it explored, not because I feel like the movie underutilized its own thing and this is a way to redeem it. Because there's so much that I know that they wanted to do just by watching this movie that it makes me feel bad seeing that they had to, really rush it. And so I don't think I'm not going to put it in Garbo or Crimes. I think Airplane movie works simply because, like, I think there is enough redeeming factors that I'm not going to say don't watch it at all, but watch it if you have the ability to watch it for free.
Yeah. I think we'll leave it at that, because it's, again, I don't want to discredit any of the work put into it. It's like, because it is still like a beautiful film. Like, it's just
it's very pretty.
So much that could have been handled differently.
Do you have a higher opinion of it or a lower opinion of it, Max, or do you just agree?
I mean, I would probably be tempted to put it maybe in nice. It's actually, fun fact, one of the other, if not the other movie on the list I watched twice, but not enough to break break a land for it, which once again German expression. So, I guess.
And I mean, Airplane doesn't mean bad per se.
No,
it's a very average movie. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
with all the concepts it has, it feels average. And to me, an average movie with a lot of high concepts is bad, but not bad as in the movie is bad. Bad as in I feel bad.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, I would probably, if somebody came to me like, thinking of how we went with the nice column, like, is it something that I would recommend to people? And I guess I still would recommend it to people if they ask me. Not highly recommend, like, great stuff, must see, but I would be like, yeah, I had a good time watching it. Yes, it's pretty by the numbers, in regards to the actual story, but it creates a big, very nice world. You have a surprisingly likable character in Sisu. Given that she also, given that she also has great potential to be annoying, but no, she is really, she has the right amount of heart versus she's not right with her not 100% right or 100% wrong with her attitude of trust. I mean, her trust gets her in trouble early on, but at the end of the day, it's also what saves the day. So
I think I just, it's not bad. I'm not calling it a bad movie. I think I'm just disappointed because there was stuff in there that I wish were explored more. For what it is, it's okay. But, we got 2 airplanes to 1 nice, so it offsets each other. But, we're at our final 5, people. We're almost there!
Oh, don't call it the final 5. This brings back, Battlestar Galactica. No, Battlestar Galactica flashbacks.
Well, you know what? I think we should.
The final 4.
We should come on and slam and welcome to the jam.
Welcome to the jam.
The Space Jam. I had so much fun with this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I missed it.
I mean, I think it's on HBO Max. We could.
Yeah,
watch.
It's on HBO. So
but this movie's so stupid. I love it so much. Go ahead, Lauren. Say your opinion.
Yeah, it's like, I certainly see it as better than the first one, and I don't care who comes after me for that, because we all know that the production and everything that went into the first Space Jam was a bit of a mess. Even the people working on it said so. So when you have something that's a little more cohesive and is still allowed to be ridiculous because it's aware that it's frickin' Space Jam, right? So, but it still actually does try to have some heart to it. I think, I think it was fun. And do I see it as a necessary viewing? No. Is it fun? Yeah. I put it again, it's like in the popcorn territory of like nice, where it's a fun watch. You aren't there for like the big, deep, emotional plot. You're there because you want to see the Looney Tunes play basketball.
Yeah, and, come on now.
I like how they handled the Toon Squad in this as well. So, or the Toon Squad and the what were they, the Goon Squad.
Yeah, they're not called Monstars.
I like how they
in this
handled
movie.
those, which was pretty cool. How they took like the traits of well-known players, and they had them actually. Didn't they actually have them like voice act? Do voice acting for
they
their
were
own
voiced
avatars?
By, yes. Yeah, they were actually voiced by NBA stars and stuff, which is cool. Look, man, this movie's dumb, and you know what? I'm a dumb person, and sometimes I want a movie to be dumb, and this movie's so stupid. I mean, LeBron James goes inside of a supercomputer that's just inside Warner Brothers Studios, with Don Cheadle as the AI, and apparently in this AI world, each different, like, it's Kingdom Hearts logic where there's just worlds that these movies exist in that are in this AI computer. Don't know why Warner Brothers has that level of technology. Eat the rich. But it's so much fun, and I love all the 2D in the movie. And you know what? LeBron James is a better actor than Michael Jordan, even though his
because Michael Jordan had no idea what he was doing. Very clearly, it was like he had no idea what to look at, how to respond to things. At least LeBron James knew how to react to things, because guess what? He also kind of has a background in voice acting too. Mostly through the Warner Brothers thing, Smallfoot. So,
yeah, but
I mean, he was good in that. So I'm like,
yeah,
he at least can act.
Yeah, I think this was fun. And you know what? Here's my hot take of the day. I think Zendaya did a perfectly fine job as Lola. Everyone shat on her performance as Lola, and I don't think that's fair. I think she did fine. Because you know what? Space Jam Lola of the Space Jam we're not talking about Looney Tunes show with the obviously superior Lola, but Space Jam Lola has no character. So why are you guys so mad? Zendaya
they were mad because no bunny
job.
boobies.
You know what?
Which she didn't really have much of in the first place, so I don't know why they were mad.
She did not have. She was always a more bottom-heavy character, and with shapely
guess what? Because bunnies have strong legs, and so more of that shape's gonna go to the legs.
What is your problem?
Why do bunnies have strong legs?
They gotta hop to it.
Yeah. God damn it. But enough hate towards small-chested Lola. That's the best kind. We support the itty-bitty committee here. But yeah, overall, this movie's stupid. Would I recommend people watch it? I don't know if I would. Did I have a great time watching it? Hell yes, I did.
That sounds like a recommendation, to be honest.
That's it. Again, that's why I put it in the nice category, where it's something like, do I see it as a necessary watch?
Oh, yeah.
No. Is it you watch it for the plot? No. You watch it because it's freaking Looney Tunes playing basketball with Ron James, and you watch all for the cameos, for the references, and for it to just be fun. That's what it is. It's like it's allowed to be fun. And it's funny because the whole premise is that LeBron James forgot how to have fun, and Bugs literally goes, "Don't you remember how to have fun?"
Fun? What is fun? But also, Gabriel Iglesias did a great job as Speedy. I love seeing Speedy.
He was great.
Who doesn't love Speedy? But yeah, so there we go. Now, this film, I don't have a lot to say on besides this film would have been better if it wasn't based off an already existing character. You got Cruella.
I got through the first half, and I told myself, I'll get back to the second half, and I never did.
Yeah, so this is a me and Max movie. So
what I can say is the first half actually didn't bother me all that much. But okay, I mean that stupid dog scene aside, but yeah.
Stupid dog, you made it look bad. But but yeah, Max, you go first. So I'll probably just piggyback off a lot of your thoughts.
I mean, for once.
Oh, Charlie has a very strong opinion.
Oh boy. Oh,
Charlie's saying that
really
this one's I don't think it's a crime per se, but
here's the thing. It started for me personally out as a literal airplane movie.
Uh-huh.
So because I watched it on the airplane. Um, uh, I don't really hate it. I'm not sure if it is Garbo because I watched. I mean, I don't have a strong desire to watch it again. So no, that was the thing. I mean, I stan Emma Stone, so nah. That is probably already an unfair advantage this movie
She
has.
did a good job acting as the character they wrote, but a great performance does not negate how the movie was written.
The character doesn't make any sense. Like, with them desperately trying to turn her into Cruella without her being actually Cruella. So,
yeah.
Because Dalmatians kill my mom, okay?
Yeah.
It's like,
so, yeah.
Yeah, but it's and the two what are their names, nah? The thieves, nah?
Horace and Jasper.
Yes, exactly. Now, they have in both previous incarnations have been the village idiots, and here they are suddenly basically super powered. I mean, they are even with all the ridiculous stunts that Cruella herself manages to pull in the movie, those two guys are still in a different movie. They are, literally, they literally are superhuman. Cruella is talented and everything, but where do those two come from?
But that's the thing. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
It's not a prequel. It has nothing to do with the original movies. Nothing.
Also the fact that it's
revisionist stuff.
Yeah.
Also the implication that Pongo and the female Dalmatian are incest. So
Yep.
That's already great. Cool, man. I mean, I know we had an incest joke in Encanto with the rat novella, but come on now. Yeah, here's the thing. Because I agree with every single one of your points. There's not much I can say. Besides the fact, I think I would have liked this movie more if it just wasn't about Cruella de Vil. If she was just her own character, her own thing, her own scrappy orphan moving up in the industry and the dark side of the industry, because the reason why she gets the name Cruella is because the person that she got hired by was just trying to slander her. It's not from anything she actually really did. And just as revising, like, I don't have problems with doing different interpretations of villains. I like the Maleficent movies. I like the concepts of them. However, the musical Twisted by Star Kid brought up a great thing in, like, because there's the song Twisted is them pointing out the other point of view of the Disney villains of how they could be actually viewed as anti-heroes. But at the end of the song, Corella's like, I just wanted to make a coat of puppies. It's like, why would you do that? Of all the characters in Disney to do a different interpretation of and seeing from their point of view, Cruella is not one of them. I'm sorry, but she's not. Like, unless... And if you're going to do it, there's nothing wrong with making a movie where your quote-unquote protagonist is the bad guy. A villain origin... Like, Joker proved that you can make it where... And if Cruella was more of a Joker movie, where you're not actually rooting for her, but you're seeing why she is the way she is, I would have liked it more. But yeah, the Descendants movie had a more believable villain POV. And those are Disney Channel movies, people. But yeah, I don't know if I would put it in Garbo. With everything said... I don't know. Between Garbo and Airplane. Because if you put the lens on that, if you watch it for what it is, it's not awful in that it's just a kind of boring movie that if you took the Cruella IP out of it, it could actually be okay. But I think what it stands for in these Disney live action films, like what it shows in this trend, it could be brought down to Garbo because of what it's a part of. But I don't know. So I don't know, Max. You're the deciding factor here.
That is a brutal call. This final statement there with what it stands for, because yeah, by itself, I would definitely not put it in Garbo. It's absolutely watchable as a movie. It's basically the two aspects of the IP where it just as a prequel. I mean, it 100% doesn't make any sense as a prequel. So it's basically a re-envisionment. But if it's a re-envisionment, its desperate desire to end, to put everything in place at the end for the original movies to happen, shoots itself in the foot. So it's kind of like, guys, you maybe should not have done that. Where does this leave me? I mean, I am actually tempted to say, for the reasons that you mentioned, the unnecessary shenanigans with the IP, plus what it stands for, namely Disney's idiotic live-action milking of successful old IPs. For those two reasons, I would be willing to put it in Garbo.
I'm sorry, Emma. I love you, but
yeah,
pick a better movie. Your agent did not give you a good idea. Okay, so this one will be quick.
Stay away from the mouse.
This one will be quick because I'm just gonna say I think it's a nice movie. I don't think it reinvents the wheel, but I know Lauren will have things to say about it, and that's Wish Dragon.
Still haven't seen it. Damn it.
I'd say it's a nice movie.
Of the Sony movies that came out this year, because this movie, Vivo, and Mitchell's, I think to me it's the weakest. Not in terms of quality, just in impression. I
really enjoyed it a lot more than I was expecting to, and plus what it does is it turns the whole, like, people were worried it was just going to be a copy paste of the Aladdin story. That's not actually what it does. Sure, there's a magical wish dragon, and it's like a genie. He has his genie qualities when he comes out of the little teapot. But and actually, you would think, oh, this guy wants to make a wish to get closer to the girl that he's in love with. No, actually, he's like, I just want my best friend back. We were friends when we were kids, but her dad went into a different job, and then that took her into a whole new lifestyle because of it, and so they ended up separating. He's like, I just want my friend back. And they're like, and they keep it that way. Is that they literally just he wants to connect with his friend again. And it's the dragon, sorry, spoiler alert, I guess, but it's the dragon that needs to learn the lesson more than the so-called protagonist. Because the protagonist and the girl are nice enough, fine. They're pretty general characters. The dragon is the one that has to go through an arc. And
I mean,
that's the cool part.
Wish Dragon.
Yeah, and it's funny because, again, you'd think it would be just about having the wish. No, it's the dragon himself who has to go through the arc. And yeah, it's like if the genie had to go through an arc of learning stuff, which if you look at the Aladdin tale or whatever, or at least if you look at Disney's interpretation, the genie didn't have to really learn anything. It was Aladdin. And even then, I don't know if he really learned too much. He didn't dramatically change by the end. But with the Wish Dragon, he does learn. And this is coming from somebody who absolutely loves Aladdin. Okay, it's okay because Aladdin didn't really have to learn too much in his arc. He didn't really have to. He learned, just be yourself. All right, it's fine and simple. He doesn't really have to change too much for that, and that's fine.
So would you say Wish Dragon is great or nice?
I would say it's not an ideal film, but it is great for what it is and what it brings to the table and how it turns certain things on its head. Also, I believe it was produced, not directed, but produced by Jackie Chan, who plays the Wish Dragon in, I believe it's in, is it
the Mandarin dub?
Yes.
Yeah, the Mandarin dub.
And it's funny, there's definitely influences of his martial arts in this. And you go, because it's comedic martial arts in that way. And you go, okay, yeah, this is I'm like, I wonder who was involved. He's, I mean, we love Jackie Chan in this house. So I say it's a nice film because it doesn't set out to be a dramatic, groundbreaking, game changer film, but the animation in it is so much fun, and I do like what it turns on its head. And Long, the Wish Dragon, he is super enjoyable. I love that he is honestly kind of a grump who is like, what you know, I got a job to
It's
do.
like
Let's
a
get this over
good
with, kind
bag
of thing.
shrimp chips.
And he is a good noodle boy who just wants his shrimp chips, and he wants to be, and he has lessons to learn that he does. So it's
there were
like,
2 movies about dragons this year. Huh.
I'm like, I would still love a plushie of Long. He's cute. So.
Okay, I saved 2 movies for last. One that I know someone here has an extreme opinion about, and one that I know someone has an extreme opinion about, but in the good way. So, the final 2. I'm picking the other one last because at least that means the stream ends on a happy note. Spider-Man No Way Home. You'd think this would be easy, but because Max is here, it's not.
It's true.
All right. Well, I'm going to say I'm on the positive end of this spectrum. I think it's at least a great movie. Lauren, have you seen
I'm in that
No Way
ballpark
Home?
with you too, so I'm curious what Max has to say about
Max
it.
didn't like the movie, so this is going to be interesting.
So, I guess here's the thing that I also, in my loathing for that movie, already pointed out that I don't think it's a bad movie by any way or form. It's Spider-Man, I would say the MCU Spider-Man still has a very good track record at not having a bad one in there. I mean, we have the 3 Iron Mans. Second one, not so great. We have how many Thors are there at the end? 3 or 4? 3, isn't it?
Yeah, there's going to be 4, but right now it's 3.
Yeah, 3, once again. Second one, not so great. Captain America, I believe, has a good...
Oh, Captain America's been good from the get-go. Yeah, Cap is fine.
all the Cap movies are pretty good, so no curse there. But yeah, Spider-Man... Also, the Spider-Man they came up with for the MCU, like as a character, as a dynamic with other characters, is pretty fantastic, and that holds true for that movie. But I'm not sure how much I can even say without going into spoilers, because my complaints are all very, very spoiler heavy. Yeah, I'm not sure how to go about it.
I mean, your main thing is that the resolution of this movie puts Spider-Man... you said that it takes away the things that made this particular Spider-Man unique. I know that you told me that's the best non-spoiler way.
Exactly. That is, if this is not already taking too much away. I mean, I had a nice back and forth with somebody on Twitter. Basically, the only person who actually reacted to my unpopular opinion, and they were like, yeah, I come from the point where my favorite Spider-Man without competition is the Tobey Maguire interpretation, and given that knowledge, I can be like, yeah, I can totally see why you are happy about the development that made me dislike it.
Maybe that also works because my favorite is Andrew Garfield. So.
So the resolution of this movie and what it means for MCU Spider-Man, as you put it, it makes him. It basically takes anything away except for Tom Holland, which makes him the MCU Spider-Man. And while many people are like, hey, that is positive for that reason or that, and I can completely see the reasons. It's still like, and it might also be a thing that when the next Spider-Man movie comes out, assuming that they still make more in this lineup, I mean, that's also, I'm not sure.
I feel like with the thing they set up in one of the mid-credit sequences, I think there is going to be.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that's the problem, that you could yet now go to Wikipedia or IMDb and check if they have been contracts signed. But this,
I'm not doing
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. Exactly, that makes it boring. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if more installments being at Google Plus, not Google Plus, Disney Plus
Google
series.
Plus. Oh no! I didn't know we were back in 2012.
World-eating mega company that puts a plus at the end of their name for their newest product. It's basically the same. Just one of them. No, you cannot even say one of them produces movie because I'm pretty sure that Google also produces movies or has people produce movies on YouTube and then monetize them for themselves or something. Anyways, yeah, other aspects. There were other aspects that I mean, this is less spoilery, so I can probably say more about it. That the entire premise for this movie, the inciting incident. That's the term, right? That's
Yes.
the incite. I mean, first, I guess I can spoil a previous movie. First,
Far From Home.
The fact that Far From Home, you have this big reveal at the end. I'm not sure if it was if it actually was Mysterio or if it was an altered edit by his team or however they produced the video of Mysterio turning to the camera and revealing Peter's identity and blaming him and putting his own crimes all on Peter and then claiming that Peter murdered him. I mean, it was a mind-blowing shocker when I saw it as a post-credit scene of Far From Home, and I loved it at this point in time. However, it goes nowhere. I mean, it kind of causes
Nowhere
this
Home?
movie. No, it causes this movie. It causes Nowhere Home, but it's still like. With this hindsight, it just looks now like an executive decision to make Nowhere Home possible, to make it happen in the first place. It doesn't feel justified, organic, or anything. It feels petty. It seems to be a petty act of revenge just to fuck Peter over, which is already a great disappointment at the very beginning of the movie. That yeah, this really life-shattering event, and nobody comes to his fucking help. Well, okay, they address stand-in running around and doing stuff, so why is his stand-in not coming to him? What about anybody but Happy helping him in this shitty situation?
I think hold on, sorry, I'm just looking over at the stream because I saw buffering. No, okay, we're good. No, I think like the thing is, thinking about it, I think Peter getting revealed and the court of public opinion doing almost nothing but ostracizing with the argument of is it good or not, like that kind of thing. I feel like they did a lot of it to be kind of like the not counterpoint but foil to his mentor, which was Tony, because Tony set that precedent of, hey, I'm not going to have a secret identity. And, Peter kept his pretty mum shut even in Infinity War and Endgame, where he was trying to call himself just Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and not by names. And I think, like, viewing it from that point of view, I see why they did it in that way, as a way to cut, because, to me, No Way Home did the thing of finishing I almost said Toby. Tom's arc of going from a character that was always supported by the other Marvel characters to his own independent being. And I think if you view it from that, it improves upon the what could be viewed as regression of the uniqueness of this character, because his big uniqueness was that he was, as people meme about, Iron Kid, basically. But I think him getting stripped down and not having the help of other people and basically getting punished for a lot of the things that Tony didn't is a great foil and a great way to finish that arc, because now there is no Tony, and Far From Home, established his grief towards that, because he lost basically the father figure, and this is the final thing of him basically growing up And it's I can see where you're coming from, because Tom being the first Spider-Man to really not have to start with his origin and all that stuff, not start with an Uncle Ben, it was a precedent that set and made him unique. But I feel like
I forgot that they took that away as well.
So I think like that, I understand how that can be viewed as regression of being an isolated character. But I feel like I feel like him growing in a more unique way than the other two Spider-Mans, because look, Toby lost, both Toby and Andrew lost Uncle Ben, and in Andrew's case, because Andrew's sad boy, he lost
Gwen as well.
And which, by the way, there's an Andrew Garfield moment that he saved someone, and it, as someone who's an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fan, it made me so, I got choked up. I was like, oh, I love you, Andrew. But like I think like him, because he's truly the Spider-Man now who has lost everything. And yes, maybe some people view that as a negative thing of like, oh, cool, we're just going to torture porn this Spider-Man. But I feel like that isolation of just you are completely on your own kind of fits with the thing that Spider-Man, until the MCU happened, was really an on your own type of character. It's only a recent development where Spider-Man was a team player, in the world of movies and stuff. So I personally view it as a positive, but I can see why people view it as a negative. Who's messaging me?
But yeah, it's kind of like basically exactly my point that it was a unique thing about this interpretation. Now, Anyways, I'm not sure if I should go into more points that I'm not happy about with it, or if we should move on.
I think like we should move on, because I got a message from a certain birdie that someone really has to go.
Don't call me out, Jesus.
Hey, look,
it's not cool.
Max walked out to go use the bathroom earlier. I've walked out to use the bathroom twice while you people were talking.
I'm discreet.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm scandalized.
You love me, Lauren.
I do, but I don't like being called.
I didn't say go as in that sense. You're the one who brought. You love me. I'm sorry. Come here. Come hold on. Where's my? Come here, baby. I love you. But okay, so would we say that it's a great movie? I'm not going to put it in masterpiece, because I feel like I do see the issues that can happen. But I think I would put it in great. But where would you put it?
It's definitely at least nice. So that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, Lauren, I guess you're the deciding factor.
I say put it in great, because I enjoyed it in more nice category, and I would really put it into I enjoyed it more than all of that stuff in general. And I don't want to have to say much more to it, because you kind of already said what I liked about it anyway.
Yeah, and now the final movie.
Oh,
I think we could put 2 and 2 together what the final movie is. I
kind of garble.
You shut your fucking mouth. You put that mouth and put it in a dumpster. Man, I know you're joking, but still. I will let you guys say your thoughts on it, and then I will be quiet, because I know my opinion on this movie, and it's not gonna change. But I'll be quiet.
Really?
I'm at the very least gonna put it in, because I wouldn't put it any lower than great stuff, because it's not a perfect film, but for what it brings to the legacy of this property, I know a lot of people will have their criticism say, "Oh, but it's like the first movie." I'm like, I kind of think that's the point. I mean, you can literally have Gozer in. So I'm like, what?
You cut out. You said you can literally have Gozer. It's like Gozer what?
Gozer and the demon dogs in there, and I'm like, well, that's kind of the point. It's a tie back into the legacy of the franchise, and that's fine. But it brings new stuff to the table. It brings the basically the grandkids into this, and I love how they handle their characters and their personalities. Podcast, what a good boy. I know he's not a relative, but he's a good kid.
We love podcast here.
And I love how they tie in the original crew. I love how they bring them all back, and I love that it just feels like, and I don't want to spoil anything more to it if you haven't seen it, but I do like what they do for you-know-who. And I'm like, is it a masterpiece? I can't say it's like one of those things where I'm like, it's a landmark for the ages kind of thing, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. I never believed it had to be. I just wanted it to be something that was honorable to the franchise, and it was, and then some, which was really good, and it was so much fun to watch. And I did get emotional during it too. So I mean, I think it covers all the bases, and I want to try and say that without having to have any spoilers to it. So
yeah, I mean, to be fair, this movie has been out since November, so I think like and it's out on digital now, so I think it can be open to spoiler. But yes, but okay, Max, because you saw this movie with me.
And
we pre-gamed with the first two movies, so this one came with context. So what did you think?
What did I think? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I watched it with you. I believe did I talk about it on Awkward? I'm pretty sure we talked about it on Awkward even.
We talked about it on the first Awkward when you came back from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the criticism of it being doing what the first movie did. I mean, have you guys seen The Force Awakens or other movies that really retread old paths? Where I'm also not condemning it entirely, as long as the old paths can bring something new to the table. But I don't see this at all in this one. It's it feels like, yeah, it's a sequel which literally is as many years later as the original movie. So it's like you have the people who are our age and remember fondly those weird events from back then, and that's exactly how people our age react in the movie to it. And on the other hand, you have like kiddos who are like, what is this even? This old stuff which I have which I heard about in the 80s, which happened back then in the 80s in olden times. And then, yeah, you have great characters. You have a nice homage, reinvention of the entire movie subject, whatever. So I would probably put it in great. And I see Doc was active again.
Yeah, just wanted to show that. But yeah. Yes, I want to put it in masterpiece, to the shock of no one. But I think I think the reason why I want to put it in masterpiece is a very biased reason. And not the simping bias. I know people are gonna be like, yeah, of course you want to put it in masterpiece, you Spengler simp. No, I think this movie is like the best love letter to a franchise you can do. I know there are things that are retreading on old ground, like, Gozer the Gozerian and all that stuff, and there's Shandor and things like that, but I don't think it's rehashing. I think it's just a love letter, and the ending got me so emotional. And I've seen people in the theater get emotional too. And if this movie did anything, ever since Afterlife came out, I've seen so many people reconnect with not just reconnect, just connect over Ghostbusters. And it just feels really nice because this is a franchise that can expand through generations and people being like discovering like the cartoon and the goofiness of the second movie and all this stuff, and just it feels like a true merging of generations, which is the point of the movie. And there's just so much heart put into it, with the fact that this was directed by the original movie's son, like the director's son, because Ivan Reitman did the first 2 movies, and this one's done by Jason. And seeing Ernie and Dan and Bill come back, especially when you find out why this movie took so long to be made, is because Bill kept dragging his feet, because it's Bill. And okay, if you want no spoilers, leave. When they brought Egon back in the way that they did, and hearing like Ernie and Dan say, "I should have called more, I miss you," and you could see Bill tearing up, it's like, that hurt. That was violence committed against me. and the fact that when you watch the first 2 movies, the movies end so bombastically with, like, you know, groups of people cheering and all this stuff. This one ends very subdued. It ends with a mother hugging her long lost dad. Like, and the end is just a shot of the sky and saying, "For Harold." I don't care if you don't care about Ghostbusters. That is the best, like, dedication I think you can probably do to an actor, especially one who written some of the best movies of all time, like, you know, Groundhog Day and you know, Animal House and all that shit. I think, like, I think it's a masterpiece in that it's the perfect way to say goodbye. I don't think I've ever seen something say goodbye so tastefully. And when they do another movie and everything, and it truly moves on to the next generation, this was the perfect way to just say, you know, to close the book. And be like, we're always going to remember the past, but even when we move forward to the future. That doesn't mean we can't hold on to it dearly. And I think that's the problem with a lot of reboots, is that a lot of reboots try to forget the past, or they want to rewrite it so much to make it their own that they don't remember where they come from. And I think this is the best way to just do a continuation. So, to me, it's not a perfect movie, but I think it's a masterpiece in the thing it's set out to do. And that's to be just this big, like, thank you to Harold, who should not have died as early as he did. So, yeah. That's my opinion, but I will concede. I don't know if I waved any hearts. But I will put... yeah, so... You guys are the deciding factor, not me. You know my bias.
Oh.
You know what? Do it for Harold. Put in a masterpiece.
For Harold.
I will not fight over it.
Fine.
I mean,
2 times you swayed me.
To me, it's a great movie. So I will not fight over its.
I mean, you only had one movie that contended for masterpiece on your entire list, so. But yeah,
I mean,
wow.
Even that tongue in cheek, so.
Okay. So there we go, guys. We got our full move thing of 2021. In Crimes Against Humanity, only Tom and Jerry. And then in Garbo, we got Eternals and Cruella. Airplane, we got Dune, Gucci, The Tomorrow War, Mortal Kombat, Black Widow, and Raya. In Nice, we got Free Guy, MLP Next Generation, Arlo, Red Notice, Godzilla vs. Kong, Vivo, Space Jam 2, and Wish Dragon. In Great Stuff, we got Luca, In the Heights, Tick Tick Boom, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man No Way Home. And hey, look, it was actually even of animated and live action in Masterpiece with Encanto, Mitchells and the Machines, Suicide Squad, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think we actually did... you know what? For being 3 idiots, I think we actually did a pretty good assessment.
We're not idiots all the time.
The moral of this story is we watch too many movies. I actually was about to say, man, at least this one's going to be a shorter episode. No, I forgot that we talked.
I had a feeling it wasn't going to be.
I forgot that we like to speak and talk. But you know what? That's you know what? The audience voted for it, so we can blame them. It's your fault.
Your fault.
The second place was going to be drawing from memory. That could have been shorter. It's your fault, audience, but you guys stuck around. So so thank you. And, you know, you're going to get a lot more of these idiots in 2022 because, well, we're 3 idiots and you just watched us rank 26 movies for 3 hours and 45 minutes. So, Lauren, Max, thank you always for being part of this.
Of course.
Yeah, I hope you guys had a good time, you know, length aside.
It was fun.
But tiring. Just like most 3 Idiots episodes. But yes, I hope to see you all when I see you all. Awkwardcast is coming back next week. And go follow Lauren on Twitter. Give her money. Give Lauren money. Don't give Max money. He makes enough.
True.
And give me money, because I'm self-employed. And I want to go to Italy.
Also true.
So, and I gotta pay Lauren, because she's a storyboard artist on a big video project. So, if you're giving me money, you're giving Lauren money. You're still not giving Max money. But...
Why would you?
I don't know.
Don't give me money.
Compensation? I can give you money. I have your PayPal.
No, don't give me money. What am I supposed to do with it?
Buy things? I pay you with my presents.
Huzzah!
But yes, goodbye everyone!